6'3", 255. And Tennessee comes up on first down at the Auburn 32 after the 39-yard run by Tony Robinson. Auburn still looks like they want to lay the years back and go after him, though, as Tennessee moves people around trying to stretch out the defense. And the running play goes to Wilson. Wilson gets a yard out of it before he runs into the inside backer, Ray Corrin, a 215-pound sophomore from Albany, Georgia.
What kind of defense has Auburn got? Big, strong, physical. The fourth down linemen are outstanding. Maybe the best in the Southeastern Conference. The secondary much bigger than the secondary of the past. The question is, can they cover man for man the Tennessee very capable receivers?
We may find out right here because Joey Clinkscales has just come in. He joins Tim McGee to the bottom of the picture. Second down, still about 10 as Robinson drops to throw. Dumps it off to the short man. Wilson out of the backfield. He's a yard short of the first down. He looked deep and he found his two prime receivers, McGee and Clinkscales, had been covered. Swanson was short. He went to the running back Wilson out of the backfield.
When your receivers are covered, as we look at Tony Robinson, what he did 2 weeks ago against UCLA, he had great pocket discipline on that last pass. The receivers were covered, as Keith mentioned, and dumped it off to the layoff back.
So it is 3rd and 2, and William Howard, number 35, is in there at fullback now. As they line up, it could be a power run right side. Robinson does a lot of checking off at the line of scrimmage, and he's doing it right here.
Here's the blitz.
He's going to throw. Drills it, gets his first down. The ball is inside the 15 and out of bounds at about the 13-yard line to Eric Swanson. Swanson is a junior college player from San Bernardino, California.
Caught 20 passes last year. Number 27 is going to push deep. He sets up the defensive back Porter, giving much too deep a cushion that close to the goal line. He should have been much closer, not giving Swanson a chance to catch the ball open as he did on that pass.
Jim Miller returns at fullback now for Tennessee on first down at the 13 of Auburn. Volunteers with the first threat of the ball game.
There's the blitz again, Keith.
Robinson back, wants to throw it quickly, does throw it quickly. The pass is complete to McGee. McGee is inside the 5 and down to about the 3. And Robinson threw that with a heat on him because that big outside backer, Pat Thomas, was bearing down on him.
McGee, number 88, 54 receptions last year. Tremendous speed. Very well covered right there initially by 45 Warren, but when McGee breaks outside and catches the ball, he regains his balance and makes extra yardage.
He's close to a first down on the play.
Beautiful throw, as Keith mentioned, by Robinson, who knew he was going to take a shot just as the time he released the ball. He stayed there and threw a perfect strike.
And the referee, Jimmy Harper, tells us it is a first and goal to go, Tennessee at the Auburn 3. Howard comes back in at fullback. Charles Wilson is the I-back or tailback, and they line up in the power I now with a double tight end alignment. They're going to try to run it in, apparently. Go to Wilson. Sweep right. Good blocking. Has a crack. Touchdown. An impressive drive by the Tennessee Volunteers, keyed by a 39-yard gallop from long-legged quarterback Tony Robinson. Carlos Rivez is in for the extra point try. And it is good. 10 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the first quarter. Here's the TD.
Power sweep. Quarterback going to pitch the ball back. He's got two blockers out in front of him. A halfback right there blocking on the linebacker. Fullback Howard, number 35, blocking right there on Porter. And McClure cannot make the play. Wilson goes in for the touchdown.
Tony Robinson accounted for all but 4 of the yards.
Keith, we often say the first possession is the most important of the ball game. Tennessee won that by a long shot, both offensive and defensive.
Colwood from the 2 for Auburn. Gets a block to the sidelines, and he's thrown out around the 20-yard line. Here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, we've got an update now on Johnny Hibbett, the Tennessee center, and it is not good news. They have packed his knee in ice. I just talked to the doctor. He said it is ligament damage. Johnny Hibbett will not be back. Todd Kirk, as you very well know, played a lot against UCLA, so he has taken a lot of snaps in practice. But the bad news, Johnny Hibbett is out with ligament damage.
It's too bad.
That's
too
a
bad
tough
for
break.
Johnny. It is the 19 where they mark the ball for Auburn, and I imagine we'll see more of Bo in this possession.
A turning pitcher for him, I would guess.
On first down, he's to about the 23. He's one of those backs that he sticks his head into the line, boom, and everybody dusts themselves off, and he's got 5. Penn State finally getting out in front there. Notre Dame taking a licking from Purdue. The Boilermakers always rough on them. Alabama rolling along to a 20-point victory against Vanderbilt, and Ohio State rolling against Washington State in the fourth quarter, with Michigan looking better and better. Maryland's a big, strong team, and the Wolverines are handling them. It is second down. Right at 6 yards. And inside, down at the 25, goes Jeff Berger. Here's Jim Lampley.
All right, Keith, here is a final. Pittsburgh and West Virginia tying at 10. And as you know, if you listen carefully in pregame, West Virginia scored the tying touchdown with almost exactly 4 minutes left in the game. Nealon elect to kick for the tie rather than to go for 2 and try to take the lead. Neither team threatened in the last 4 minutes. So Pitt and West Virginia, a bitter 10-10 tie. Back to Keith Jackson.
And it's third down and about 4 here at Neyland Stadium as Berger looks to throw, gets a pass off to the 35-yard line, and the pass is caught for a first down by Jeff Parks, the tight end from Gardendale, Alabama.
Jeff Parks caught 14 passes last year out of the wishbone for a tight end, and that's pretty doggone good. But Berger has good poise. He looks to the right, receivers are covered, there's no rush. He has plenty of time to find the open target, and Parks catches the ball right off the turf, right above the turf for the completion.
Just over the 35. AG number 30 and Jackson number 34 lined up in the I formation. Berger down the line on the option outside the Jackson. Slips and falls down for a loss on the play, trying to cut back. The pursuit was coming up. The cornerback, Terry Brown, was coming like a bullet up the outside, and Bo tried to cut it back inside and lost his footing. Miami rolled it over Boston College despite having to travel most of the night, and Georgia now has pulled out to a 14-point lead over South Carolina, and Virginia Tech beating Syracuse by 10. North Carolina got it rolling against William and Mary, against VMI it was. Second down and 12. Penalty flag goes down as Tommy Agee runs the football up close to a first down, but let's see about the flag.
Keith, it appeared that the man in motion, the tight end coming across, turned up a little bit early.
That's what it was.
You have to be careful. The man in motion is an extra blocker. Coming across, number 82, he turns up just ahead of the count. He's the lead blocker for the fullback. And Tommy Agee, the fullback for Auburn, is a dangerous threat.
So the penalty takes the football back inside the 29. There are your officials today. We told you Jimmy Harper is the referee with Jack Smalley, Billy Schroer, Lawrence Stapp, Georgia men, Joe Curtis, John Fleming, and Billy Tees. A rambling record.
What a great player Billy Tees was for Georgia Tech when I was coaching there.
Chris White is in the backfield now for Tennessee as they go to the nickel defense. He had 3 interceptions against UCLA. That ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it ricochets over the head of the intended receiver, Kyle Collins. And so Auburn now.
Dale Jones, number 54, is one of the outstanding players. Made freshman All-American, sophomore All-American, and he's known for his pass rushing ability. But both backs, Jackson, number 34, look at the double team block between Jackson and Agee on Jones, the linebacker. Right there, you can see Jackson plays good without the ball as he does with the football. Good blocking.
They need about 17 yards here to keep the ball 3rd and long. Berger back to throw. He had double wide to the bottom, dumps it off to Tommy Agee. Agee's one-on-one out there, and he is brought down on a good open field tackle at about the 40-yard line by Darren Miller.
Good call by the Auburn staff, trying to get Agee on open field and make a long run. Very safe play, picked up some good yardage.
Lewis Colbert has come in to punt now. Lewis Colbert came into this ball game averaging a little over 48 yards. Sometimes that tells you he may be out kicking his coverage.
Well, Keith, his opponents have returned each of his punts an average of 9 yards. Tennessee feels like they may break one in this ball game.
Well, he didn't get all of that one, but is still up there a long time as Tim McGee drifts up to the 29-yard line and calls for a fair catch. With 6 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the first quarter, 7-0 quarterback. The story all week long in Knoxville. Coach Johnny Major's comment.
Well, it's a lot better than it was last week. If we'd have played last Saturday, there's no way he could have taken a snap from center. And I'll tell you, it caused some consternation on my part and some other folks' part around here. I told our trainer and our doctor, I said, I can't make him well, but if anything you go on to do, you better try to get it done. We need to go in that ball game with him well. He didn't look too sharp early in the week, but he's come around the last couple of days, and I have confidence that he's going to be in good shape for Saturday, and a lot of hopes, too.
In that first possession, when he took him for the touchdown, it was his 39-yard run that really was the big play, but he is 4 out of 5 for 33 yards, and he's throwing again. And this one, a little mix-up there. It looked like he was trying to hook up with Wilson to the outside. Charles broke it inside, and he had a lot of company. There were 2 white shirts right with him. It is a gorgeous day across the state of Tennessee. I don't see a cloud anywhere.
And cool, Keith, for this time of year. Just a gorgeous, ideal football day, and we got 2 teams with some great football players.
The leaves starting to turn in the Smokies. 2nd down and 10 from the 29. Panuska and Wilson. The setbacks for Tennessee. I bet you Tony's horse when the game's over because he calls every play standing upright. Penalty flag. This has got holding written all over it. The pass is caught short of the first down, up around the 36-37 by Charles Wilson. But that baby's got holding all over it.
I would look for Tennessee to get some holding penalties because of the Auburn's ability to pressure the passer. Big, strong defensive linemen put real pressure on the offensive blockers. Here's the plays in the first scoring drive for Tennessee. Just an outstanding
offensive line, 5 yards.
5-yard penalty, Keith.
Yep, not holding, but pushing. That is, when you're blocking with your hands, you've got to keep them inside the frame of the body, and somebody got it outside.
Robinson in that drive was just outstanding. What was it? All but 4 yards, did you say?
Yeah, he accounted for 72 of the 76 yards. 2nd down and 15. Yeah, that won't work much against this football team. Wilson taking a little delay, and he is greeted immediately by Nate Hill, a sophomore from LaGrange, defensive left tackle for the Auburn Tigers. Next week, Notre Dame goes west against the Falcons of the Air Force Academy. Air Force winning its first 3, and judging from the last score, Notre Dame about to go to 1-2.
And Air Force has beaten Notre Dame the last 3 years, Keith, something that we never thought we'd see.
Well, they're taking bigger folks, too, I think, than they used to. They're up to about 240 now. Back goes Robinson on 3rd down and about 22 to the sidelines. The pass caught by Wilson, but he's out of bounds at the 26. So Auburn so far has taken away McGee, Clink Scales, Swanson caught 1. Smith is yet to see it, and Robinson is having to work to the short man, Wilson, out of the backfield.
Keith, it seems to me that Auburn is playing man for man on McGee, the great receiver, and zone everywhere else. Kind of like in basketball, putting one man covering the great player and everybody else playing zone.
Bob Garman averaging 41.3 off one game, into punt for the ball, spins it out of there, and Trey Gaines will take it back at the 28. And Gaines shakes one tackler, but then gets punished as he comes up to the 36. He took a double lick at the 36-yard line, and the Auburn Tigers will start there. 1st down after a 46-yard punt from Gar. First quarter. Auburn's 3rd possession in the ball game. So far, they've run the ball 6 times and picked up 8 yards. They start from their 36. That's Weigand in motion, and the ball goes to Bo Jackson. Pops it in the middle, and he'll come out of there with at least 6 yards, close to 7.
Keith, the play we just saw is has been added to the Auburn offense this week to try to run straight at Tennessee and see if they could make them play honest football. Bo Jackson with a lead blocker right up the middle. That's what Bo Jackson has done already this year, leading the nation, 9.3 average per try, 6 touchdowns.
Second down and 3. You've got 7. Berger rides it off, pitches it out. Ball is loose, recovered by Tennessee at the Auburn 36-yard line. Terry Brown has it for the Vols. Berger took a lick as he tried to pitch the ball out to Bo Jackson after bellying to the fullback, and he bellied too long to the fullback, and there was penetration by Tennessee.
The top of your screen, quarterbacks of school don't pitch the ball if you're under duress. And you can see right there, Berger, inexperienced, just a sophomore, tried to pitch the ball as two of the defensive men had hit him. That is a no-no and a fumble resulting.
Fred Bennett, the man that came busting in there, the middle guard. And it's an opportunity for Tennessee now as they mark it actually closer to the 38-yard line. And Tony Robinson back trying to check it early, goes deep with it. He's got a man, McGee, touchdown! Well, that's cashing your opportunity in a hurry. 38 yards zip. Robinson to McGee, and McGee was 5 yards open. Revez the extra point. It's good. It's tough these days to take number 1 on the road.
Well, let's take a look at the touchdown. Keith, the great thing about Tennessee, right after the fumble, they come right back and go for the bomb. That's good quarterback. And McGee is just outstanding. As you can see how far he was behind the defensive back and from the end zone. Let's see how much room McGee had to catch the ball before he goes deep. But you can see the arc. Robinson just throws it up for air and lets McGee run right under it. He's so far behind the quarterback. Ken Johnson, number 30. Now we see the McGee run his route, how he sets up the defender. Then he gives a little inside fake. And number 32, Jonathan Robinson, the cornerback, a senior, is completely fooled on the play. Touchdown. Robinson, the cornerback, has been injured and hadn't played too much this year.
Revez kicks off. It's a knuckleball that bounces around and is picked up on the 12-yard line by Kyle Collins. That's a second return for Collins, and he brings the football out to about the 30. So it's time now to do a little character testing, I think, on the part of the Auburn Tigers. They've got to get themselves organized.
Isolate on McGee again and see why he's so outstanding. He's going to set up Robinson by giving this little bit of fake right there to the outside. Robinson took one step outside, and that he should not have done until the ball was thrown. You keep backing up, and you see how far McGee was behind.
Here's a critical moment in the ball game, too, for Auburn. Bobby Walden is now in at quarterback, a redshirt first freshman. And they give it off inside to Bo Jackson. And Bo bums his way for a first down out to about the 44-yard line. So Jeff Berger is unable to move the team, coughed up the ball on the last play, and in comes a new quarterback. And that was the whole point of it at the very beginning, that to have a number 1 team without a settled situation at quarterback.
You can see that Walden has played very little. He was injured his last year in high school, only played in 3 games, redshirted last year, so it's been 2 years since he's played much.
Brent Fullwood is in at tailback now, replacing Bo Jackson. Fullwood's a good one. Great speed. But he put his helmet in the crowd that time, and there was just no place for him to go. He picked up about 1.5 yards. Here's Jim.
Keith, 2 top 10 teams have completed victories. Penn State beating Rutgers 17-10. The ultimate game winner, a 55-yard fourth-quarter run by Steve Smith. And Michigan has won for the 3rd straight time against a top 20 opponent. Michigan beating Maryland 20-0. The Wolverines, the only team in the country, Keith, which has yet to allow a touchdown this year. Back to Knoxville.
Bo may have a tough bunch in that crowd. They really looked good last week against South Carolina, too. Give him 2 yards on that carry. Fullwood make it 2nd down and 8. The ball just over the 45. Walden rolls it out, dumps it down the middle. It's picked off. Tennessee intercepts at number 45, Darren Miller. Oh, my goodness.
I don't think I've seen a defense play any better than Tennessee has. This is a tough pass to cover, but a bust in the backfield throws Walden, number 15, the freshman quarterback, off balance, but he throws it right to Miller. Darren Miller, number 45, for the interception. Trying to get it over his head, underthrew it.
And Tennessee goes from their 47, 1st down. Robinson again, going to the air, going big with it. Sideline route, pass is good inside the 30-yard line. Mark it on the 29 as Tennessee strikes big again to Tim McGee.
Once again, when you get a turnover, go for the juggler. Go for the throat. Robinson rifles this ball. Watch the arm. He gets that ball right out there on the corner. A big, big reception. Now, how does McGee get there? He sets it up by going inside and then back out.
And on top of this play, you have a personal foul call against the Auburn Tigers.
And that is tacked on, Keith, assessed at the end of the play.
And Tennessee will be sitting with a 1st down at the Auburn 15-yard line. And Robinson 7 out of 9 for 100 yards and a touchdown, and Tennessee leads in the ball game 14-0.
Turnovers at Tennessee. Look at how they lead their opponents. Last 2 weeks against UCLA, they had a +4. Today, they've already got 2.
Wilson and Keith Davis now line up in split back formation for the balls. Double wide, bottom of the picture. Robinson back, going to go loop one into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Incomplete, intended for Joey Clinkscales against Arthur Johnson. And Clinkscales with that roll right, and as he turns back to the left, he isn't going to miss that ball much.
The passer, Robinson, lays the ball to the outside, hoping that Clinkscales can run under it. But it's a little bit too far to the outside, and Clinkscale couldn't come back and catch it. Good play, really. It's about all you can do as a defensive back, Johnson, number 40.
2nd down and 10 from the Auburn 15. Robinson throwing again. Sideline. Pass is good down at the 10. That's a pickup of 5 yards to Eric Swanson with Kevin Porter making the hit for the Tigers.
Once again, the blitz was on. Gary Kelly coming in from inside, hit Robinson just as he was releasing the ball, but Robinson once again right on target. Knowing the open receiver, identifying the defense, finding the receiver, and letting him have it. Johnny Majors has to be pleased right now.
3rd and 5. Robinson looking, chase, gets it away into the end zone. It is intercepted in the end zone. A great one-handed grab by Tom Powell, and that is one that Tony should not have thrown.
Auburn, the rush, did an outstanding job of staying outside and really making Robinson do what he didn't want to do. Watch it. Robinson tries to get outside. He cannot do it. Blitzen coming from the other side. He gives ground and just throws the ball up for grabs. And Tommy Powell, experienced safety man, makes a one-handed grab.
And so the balls are turned away as Auburn intercepts, and the Tigers take the football at the 20.
Keith, one thing we should point out is that the passing teams have difficulty scoring from inside the 10 or 15-yard line. The field is shrunk.
Yep. Important thing here for Auburn, though, is not to get away from their basic plan. 14-0 Tennessee lead, but the Tennessee defensive people swarming to Bo Jackson. They had UCLA down in the 4th quarter late, 26-10, and let the game get away from them.
We also should point out that Auburn has changed their offense, something coaches very unusual for them to change their offense for one player, Bo Jackson. It's a different blocking scheme, and Auburn doesn't seem to have adjusted from the wishbone to the I formation.
Second down and 9. Jackson with the ball, runs it right up the pipe, and gets it out to the 26.
Tennessee defense continues to overplay the run. As we look at Bo Jackson, second back in Auburn history to gain over 200 yards in 2 consecutive games. But what a football player he is. You can never let up on defense. He's capable of going all the way on any play.
7 carries and 28 yards for Bo so far in this game.
And they've been tough yardage, Keith. Tough yardage. He had to work and earn everything he's got.
Minute 45 to go in the first quarter. 14-0 Volunteers. Bobby Walden, the quarterback. Son of punter Bobby Walden, so many of you remember for many great years in the NFL. And Walden doesn't like the circumstance, and he calls timeout rather than risk a mistake. 1:34 to go in the first period. Again, Jim.
All right, Jim Lampley in New York, and sitting alongside me, of course, the greatest quarterback in college football last year, Doug Flutie. You fell in love with Tony Robinson a couple of weeks ago. How does he look today?
Fantastic job so far. He had a little error there trying to make something happen. Tony's got quick feet. Earlier he had the long run, stepping up in the pocket, taking off, running. Strong arm quarterback, can make things happen all the time. There he tried to make things happen when it wasn't there, threw the interception into the end zone. But overall, he's doing a heck of a job.
Yes or no? Can a wishbone team come back?
Not from a lot.
Doesn't play it anymore.
They've got a lot of time. They've got a lot of time yet.
All right, we'll see what happens and go back to Keith Jackson.
Where Auburn will be looking at 3rd down and 4. You see Robinson there on the phone upstairs. A lot of things about him you don't coach.
That's it, right. Those are instincts, and he came from a school from Tallahassee, Florida, Leon High School, which has produced many fine passes.
All right, Auburn now with its offensive set straightened out. Walden steps in. Drops the ball off the snap. He's back there by himself, gets the pass slapped back in his face. It is incomplete.
Keith, that's exactly what Tennessee wanted to do. Make those young quarterbacks make some mistakes. And both of the young quarterbacks that Auburn's counting on, Walden, number 15, drops the center snap. Ball goes right to the ground, gives Tennessee defense a chance to penetrate. By the time Walden gets back up, he doesn't know where the receivers are. He's a little bit lost. As he winds up to throw the ball, the linemen are right there and deflected.
In to punt comes Lewis Colbert. His last one was only 32. His first one was 41. Tim McGee waits for him. Pressure on him. And again, McGee calls fair catch rather than risk having the ball come loose. He's got good field position for Tennessee at their own 40. Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers will have at it. That's a rivalry out of the AFC Central that's long running on ABC's presentation of NFL Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time next Monday.
Pittsburgh quarterback Mark Malone is having a great year, and his receiver Lips seems to be in the makings of Swan, a great receiver 2 years ago.
Defense is playing super.
They always have in Pittsburgh. That's one thing that Small does.
First down, Volunteers, they're 40. Robinson steps back, penalty flag down. Pass goes to Clint Scales. He's wrestled down at the 48. But that flag came quickly.
Little movement looked like. Auburn secondary hope that they can adjust to the speed of the Tennessee receivers as the game develops.
Iowa out 7-0 over Iowa State, second quarter of their ball game. The interstate rivalry.
Backfield.
Keith, it's impossible for a secondary to get a true picture of the Tennessee offense because the B team at Auburn won't have the receivers of the passer, quite obviously.
Look at Baylor. They had a big win at USC and now rolling again. Final score you saw earlier, and Army. Jim Young's got the Cadets running the ball. Oh, do they run it. It's first down and 15 for Tennessee back at the 35. There goes number 28, Keith Davis. And Keith Davis runs for a Tennessee first down. He showed some speed on that delay out of the backfield. Got a great block to spring him and took off for the first down.
Right from the end zone, you see the rushers trying to get up the field to put pressure.
Great block there.
By the fullback, the lead draw. Davis was a highly recruited freshman, maybe the fastest back that they have, and he gets in the secondary and picks up the first down.
It's on the Auburn 47.
You've got to use that fake pass and run to keep those defense honest.
Robinson on first down. Down the middle. No, it goes over to the sideline, and it is intercepted. It is caught by Tom Powell, his second interception of the ball game. He had a man, Jeff Smith, down the middle. Didn't see him. Went instead over to Tim McKee on the sidelines into double coverage and had it picked off.
Tommy Powell was a strong safety for 2 years. He's moved back to free safety. Been back there, knows what to do. But I thought this ball of Robinson's hung. I thought he laid it up too high. The ball did not have the zip to throw this kind of pattern. You can see McGee is waiting for the ball. If the ball had been rifled in there, it would have been complete, but Powell makes a great play.
That finger may be a factor.
Maybe, Keith. That one certainly didn't have any zip on it.
Penalty flag as Bo Jackson carries. Bo gets it from the 24 out to about the 29, but the flag came in a hurry. It's against Auburn motion.
On this particular play, misdirection sweep, the offensive guard and tackle pull and lead the play. And often they try and have to kind of beat the gun a little bit to get in front of Bo Jackson.
The average rush for Auburn.
Illegal motion, offensive backs moving ahead of the snap.
2.5 yards, while Tennessee shows a little over 11, but we're talking about totally different critters here.
Auburn, yes, Keith, Auburn right now is a one-dimension offense, and that makes it much easier for the Tennessee defense. Key on Bo Jackson and do the best you can against the pass because no Auburn quarterback has looked good throwing the ball so far.
Quarter's over. We've played 15 at Neyland Stadium. The home team, Tennessee, leads #1 Auburn 14-0. Auburn going into the second quarter of play. It's first down and 15 for the Tigers. The ball just short of their own 19-yard line. Monty Walden is the quarterback for Auburn. Pitches the ball to Bo Jackson. Big hole right side. And Jackson comes out for the first down. Out to the 36-yard line.
This is how Bo Jackson makes the yardage. The I formation is the best play to give a good back a chance to use his own running ability. Find the open area. One man misses him right there. Then another one tries to get him down, but no, look at the leg drive, Keith, as he just continues on. Number 7, Chris White, could not bring him down.
He's now got 45 yards on 8 carries. First down at the 36. Up man, Agee with the ball, maybe a yard.
The stats in the first half, Tennessee, of course, in total, the first quarter, Tennessee overwhelming in total yards. 3 first down and 161 yards is really unusual. Both teams having 2 turnovers. Auburn continues to turn the ball over 7 times in the first 2 ball games, surprisingly for Tennessee with 2 in the first quarter.
Reggie Ware in at fullback. Second down, about 9. Jackson. 40. Stop. That's 4 yards for Bo Jackson on that carry. All-time leading rushers for Auburn. You can see that Bo Jackson will almost surely pass James Brooks and Joe Cribbs before he is done. And there are the baseball scores, all of them partials. And some of the games just getting underway in the National League. Third down and 6. Walden back to throw. Takes his time. He's got all day. Now he pulls it down to run it. Gets away. And takes a whack. Fumbles the football. And I think Auburn has covered it at the 49.
That was a big play for Auburn. Third in long yardage. Young quarterback, receivers covered. He showed some poise, scrambled to the outside, got outside the Tennessee. The Tennessee should not let him outside. Walden, number 15, looking to the right, nobody open. Now he scrambles to the left, makes one man miss. Dale Jones had him stopped at the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to get a lick right there. Can't tell who it is. The ball pops out. Number 45, Miller, hit him. Auburn recovered.
Eric Floyd covered the ball, and it's first down. They hand it inside to A.G., and A.G. runs over the top of one Tennessee tackler and makes something out of the play, getting it down inside the 42. So that's a pickup of 8 yards at least for Tommy Agee.
Anytime that Auburn gives the ball to Agee up the middle, it's the same as the old wishbone. And I would expect the Auburn offensive line to do a good job, because that's what they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, running the wishbone fullback up the middle. Auburn season today, 7-8 for the season, but only 4 yards today.
Give him 9 yards, second down and 1. Auburn looks to throw it on second and short. Throws the ball behind the intended receiver, Freddie Wagand, and they're very lucky to get that one back, because Tommy Sims looked back, and suddenly the ball was on his hip, but he couldn't get a handle.
Sims is a senior, experienced strong safety, been a starter since his freshman year. The ball, as Keith mentioned, is substantially underthrown. And Sims turns back, he hits his hand, he juggles it right there, but couldn't hold on to it.
Walden is now 0 for 3 with an interception. Berger didn't have much better luck when he was in there.
That was kind of a waste down, third and less than 1.
Our eye now.
Watch out for Jackson.
Penalty flag as they go to the up man, Agee. Or Reggie Ware it was. Reggie Ware was playing the up position on that carry, sophomore from Huntsville. And the penalties against the Tigers.
When you check exchange quarterbacks, each quarterback has a little bit different snap count. Believe me, it's tough on the backs and the linemen to adjust to that snap count when they have different players in there during the ball game.
Backs moving in offensive backfield.
We used to worry about that all the time when another quarterback going in, getting some motion penalties, because there's a little bit different each quarterback in his call of the signals.
A little bit different with third down and 6 against third and 1 too.
The immediate effects from a running down to a passing down.
Did he catch it? He sure did. Good catch by Trey Gaines. And that time Walden threw a bullet.
Gaines is going to come in between the strong safety and the linebacker. The timing has to be absolutely perfect. Sims is right there, but Wagan comes right on inside of him. No, Gaines, I'm sorry. Gaines comes right on in, juggles it, but catches it before it hits the turf.
And it's first down Auburn now at the Tennessee 31. First serious threat by the Tigers in the ball game today. Jackson. 3 yards. Again, Jim Lampley in New York.
Keith, it is over at West Lafayette, Indiana. A familiar story. Purdue beating Notre Dame 35-17. Jerry Faust now only 2 wins in 5 years against Purdue, opening this season at 1-2, and today's loss was the worst by an Irish team to Purdue since all the way back in 1960. Back to Keith Jackson.
And it'll sound like a pack of coyotes howling across the country. Second down, 7. Walden got rid of it just before he was hit, but it's a bad pitch, and Tennessee has recovered another miscue by the Auburn Tigers.
The option play by the quarterback is going to get hit. Dale Jones, number 54, has a quarterback stunt. He's coming on the snap of the ball. He forces the quick pitch before Walden is ready to lay it off to Jackson. Jackson had good blocking in front of him, could have made the play. The ball was lateral behind him. It belongs to Tennessee on the recovered fumble on the lateral pass.
3 Auburn turnovers, 2 by Tennessee. Share of mistakes here in this first half of play with 11:15 to go. Tennessee leading 14-0. And the Volunteers go from their 39 first down. Robinson pitches to Wilson to the 41 for a couple of yards on the carry. American League partials to this time. Toronto out by 3 over Milwaukee. Baltimore leading the Yankees by 1. Minnesota has defeated Kansas City 5-3, and California Cleveland even in the 9th. Well, California with an opportunity to go to the lead in the American League West. Both those teams lost last night. Second down, 8 from the 41 for Tennessee. Robinson comes down the line on the option, pitches to Charles Wilson. Wilson makes a good cut and gets a first down as he reaches the Auburn side of the field. Arthur Johnson brought him down.
Pat Dye told me last night the one thing he feared would be if Robinson runs the option play, the spin option, fake the fullback, pitches the ball right out to Wilson, and the defensive backs are playing pass, Keith. That's the reason there's no support. They are playing pass, covering receivers down the field, giving Wilson a chance to make the run.
Volunteers are camped on the Tiger 48 with a first down.
It's hard to play the pass man-to-man and stop the option, Keith.
Gonna run it again. Jeff Smith, the tight end, shifted over to that side. They run the same kind. Well, it wasn't exactly the same kind of a play. It was just a straight pitch that time. But Charles Wilson takes the ball down to the 40, and Tom Powell laid a lick on him, and he's a little slow getting up. Well, Jerry Claybert wins one, beating Cincinnati by 20 up in Kentucky, and Texas over Stanford in the first quarter.
Tennessee must make some yards running the
Wilson's
football,
hurt, Frankie.
Keith.
Wilson's hurt.
Yes, he is hurt. He got a tough hit from Powell, the safety man, who's a very vicious tackler. Played strong safety last year. Now he's at free safety and came up and really put the lick on him. We hope Wilson's not hurt seriously.
Yesterday I asked Auburn coach Pat Dye if he thinks his team is #1.
I don't think so, Keith. I really don't. Not right at this point in time. If we are, you know, we got to display it today, because we certainly haven't displayed it in our first 2 football games.
They haven't so far today either. Trailing 14-0 in Tennessee with a second down and 3 at the Auburn 40. A lot of movement by Tennessee. Spread you out. Spread you out. Run it. Keith Davis. Got a hole and out of bounds at the 15-yard line of Auburn.
Boy, did Tim McGee make a great block on the cornerback to give Davis that freshman extra running room. But more than that, the right side of the offensive line, as Auburn is trying to get through it on the passer. Then you see the blocks take place downfield. Davis
run twice for 18 and 25 yards. That'll slow the rush down, Keith, of Auburn. Make them think run. They put it at the 16 of the Tigers. Charles Wilson out of the game. Keith Davis replaced him. He's a 190-pounder from Nashville. And Robinson now, not liking what he's got at hand with this opportunity, doesn't want to mess it up, spends the timeout at 9:37 the first half. That's a bunch. If they can get it in. They were down here knocking a while ago on the 15 and had the ball intercepted in the end zone. They were turned away. Oh, the blitz is on, Steve. All out. They are coming. They're all up there. He ducks one. Gets his pass off down the middle. The pass complete to McGee. And McGee fights forward inside the 5 near the 4. That'll be first and goal to go for Tennessee.
McGee just works in an open. After he sees Robinson scramble, man-for-man coverage, quarter number 3 was trying to stay with him, but he could not. He got lost as Robinson scrambled, and McGee had that extra little ability to make yardage after the catch.
First and goal for Tennessee on the Tiger 4. Gerald Robinson was the man pursuing Tony and just couldn't get a handle on him. They go to that power eye alignment. They ran it in the last time. This goes to Keith Davis. No, it is not Davis. It's Panuska. Panuska is in there, number 36, and he doesn't get much on that play. Here's Tim Brandt.
Keith, as you look at number 32, Charles Wilson, the running back for Tennessee, the doctors have looked at him. They have examined his left shoulder. They don't know the extent of the injury, so precautionary, they're going to keep him out of the rest of the half. They will reevaluate his shoulder at halftime, and they are hoping that there's no separation. But right now it is extremely sore. He won't be back this half.
Davis is back in now in the backfield for Tennessee. He's the quick one. Robinson will throw. Left the goal. Dumps it short, and it is incomplete. And that was just a throwaway. Threw that one out of bounds.
Passing teams, I told Johnny Majors yesterday, I said, Johnny, when you get inside the 20-yard line, you better score every time and not settle for a field goal. Passing teams have so much difficulty putting the ball in the end zone when the field shrinks against man-on-man coverage.
Here's some news. Bad news for Auburn. Gerald Robinson, the great outside backer for them, is hobbling off the field, number 95.
He was all Southeastern Conference last year. Probably the premier pass rusher in all of the Southeastern Conference.
He's out of the lineup right now.
Tennessee has been turned back once when they got down close. Now they're in trouble again.
Brian Smith comes in at that support side. What amounts to defensive end in the goal line stand. It's third down for Tennessee and goal from the 4. That was a bad spot, too. They lost about a half a yard on the spot. Robinson wants to throw it. Pressure zone. Gets it off down the middle. Touchdown! And it's caught by Vince Carter. Robinson never saw it. He was flat of his back.
That pass could have been intercepted just as easily as it was called for a touchdown. His interference somewhere. Flag in the end zone.
Flag in the end zone. Waved off. Touchdown count.
Once again, Robinson took a chance throwing the ball on that occasion. Carter, just a sophomore, came back and jumped up and caught it at the height.
Tony never saw it, though. No, he was upside down.
He was getting hit just as he released it.
Revez for the extra point. And it is a startling 21-0 Tennessee lead at 8:18 to go in the first half.
And Hill comes through, forces him out of the pocket, and then, of course, Carter jumps up and takes the ball away from two Auburn defenders. 99 Hill, 6'5", big, strong. But no match for Robinson as he just throws the ball up. A little bit of shoveling there by Porter, number 3. And Porter runs right by the ball. Carter comes down with it. I was going to say, Keith, passing teams, I think most coaches would agree that passing teams kind of run out of steam in the fourth quarter. And I would advise Tennessee to get as many as they can right now. We saw what happened at UCLA, and many times passing teams just kind of run out of steam, and the running teams take over.
The kickoff is a low liner that bounces past the first man and bounces on through the end zone, and Auburn will have it first down at their own 20.
Here are the plays of the scoring drive, 8 60 yards. Only 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and we know how fast Robinson can take them down.
We'll see the flex bone of the Air Force Academy Falcons, Michigan Bears Ball Club against Notre Dame next Saturday here on ABC. And you know what kind of black clouds are going to be following the Fighting Irish that they've lost big today. So he gets a little bit of a hole and then turns on the power and runs for about 8 yards on that carry.
I think we all would recognize the fact that Auburn needs to see these touchdowns very desperately here. They need to take the ball, make something good happen, get some momentum, and teach the Tennessee defense that they're not going to control that Auburn line of scrimmage, which is one of the best they've had in years.
Reggie Ware and Brent Fullwood now are the setbacks with Fullwood, the deep man. He has the ball. He is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and then he is driven back short of the first down. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Kenny Donahue has that Tennessee defensive crowd swarming. Auburn's going to have to throw the ball a little bit, Frank. They're going to have to.
A one-dimension offense is very, very hard to move the ball consistently. But number 16, Tommy Sims, the safety.
The safeties are taught to fill inside the defensive end. Be a linebacker on a running play. And Jones, 54, sets him up. Sims, 16, comes in along with 14, number Brown.
Auburn spends a timeout now with about a half a yard to go for the first down.
Jones, here's Jones's play, number 54, the junior tight end, the defensive end, just whips the blocker and makes the play.
You've got 7:13 to play in the first half, and Tennessee out to a whopping 21-0 lead. Tommy Agee are back in the Auburn backfield, 3.5 yards to keep it. Short of their own 30. Agee dives. Oh, Ware. Reggie Ware dives. Number 36, and he gets the first down. Who did he go over? He went over his top of Steve Wilson. Big left guard that time to get it.
Just a sophomore. Started as a redshirt freshman last year every game. Big and strong. Here the mats of the Auburn Tiger possessions. 7, 3 turnovers, 3 punts, 6 first downs, and only 105 total yards. No points.
Now Agee's in there at the up back with Jackson behind him. First down, ball at the 32. Berger gives it to Bo Jackson. Well, every time Bo gets it, there's a swarm of burnt orange around him.
Why is there a swarm, Keith? Mainly because the linebackers and cornerbacks are ignoring the pass. When you're a one-dimension offense, and if you're a pretty good defensive coach, as you've already said Ken Donahue is, you know that they're going to be crowding the run. But look what Bo Jackson did as a baseball player. Much doubt and discussion as whether he's going to go pro baseball or pro football. Just outstanding in both sports.
You've got a problem right now. Late September in Tennessee. Berger's pass to the sidelines. The intended receiver slipped and fell trying to come back to the ball. Freddie Wiggin was out there and had no chance. The ball, for one, was underthrown.
I was going to say, Keith, by 5 yards. Close to 5 yards. Wasn't even close. The defensive backs of Tennessee are supporting the run so fast. The one thing they've got to worry about is a fake of the play to Jackson and throwing deep.
Let Bo throw it.
He can throw it, I bet you that.
Berger zips one. That's incomplete. The pass intended for Trey Gaines. That was a play that worked earlier. At that time, the pass was not on the money, and the Tennessee defenders are raising their arms to the crowd of 94,000 plus.
Pat Dye is trying to get his team settled down, letting them know that it's a 60-minute ball game, trying to get their mistakes corrected. But the momentum, the Tennessee defense, Keith, are gaining confidence with every Auburn possession.
Colbert to punt for the Tigers, and McGee deep. McGee has not had a chance to return one. Colbert's had the ball well up, forcing 3 fair catches. And he's got another one up, and this one rides the wind and goes a long way to the 13. And McGee dancing around, runs out of time, and he is dropped at the 16. That was a 53-yard punt. Here's Jim.
All right, Keith, let me offer you a couple notes on one of the day's biggest upsets so far. Previously winless Navy handing Virginia only its 2nd loss in the last 14 games. McCallum on the day, 37 carries, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Navy as he outrushed Barry Word of Virginia, who had come into the game among the nation's leaders.
Well, those numbers are tough. And he gets it out across the, well, about the 24.
Keith, I always thought that Tennessee used those jerseys because you can't see the numbers, and when you try to scout them or in the film, you just can't tell. But Howard is a sophomore fullback. Averaged over 5 yards last year as a freshman. Good balance, good power as a runner.
It's 2nd down, long 2, short 3, however you like it. He's checking off again. On a throw on 2nd and 3. Now, just wrong again. Tony Robinson runs the football for a first down at the 38-yard line.
When the best pass rusher that Auburn has, number 98, Gerald Williams, but you can see he's reckless, just coming right up the field with one thing in mind, rush the passer. Galbraith, number 76, just takes him right out and makes an open hole for quarterback Robinson right through for the first down.
Throwing on first down this time. And got his man, Tim McGee. How many times do you see that? He goes out to the sidelines, goes up about 6 or 8 yards, and then whistles it back inside.
Once again, man-for-man coverage. I don't believe you can cover Tim McGee man-for-man. Inside number 45 was chasing him all the way down the field. Jimmy Warren, the cornerback, who had played as a regular 2 years ago. Now he tries to come back inside. The pass right there, wide open is McGee.
And it's first down Tennessee at the Auburn 37-yard line.
Here's the blitz.
Number 9, Powell, creeping up. They beat it. They hand the ball off to the fullback, and William Howard rolls for a first down to the Auburn 26.
Keith, I'd hate to be calling defenses for Auburn because they don't know whether to rush the passer now or defend the run. The quarterback coach, Walt Harris of Tennessee, is doing a great job of mixing the plays. You can see the wide open area there. Tennessee left side of the line of the offensive line. Douglas and Galbraith just drove them out and opened up the big, big hole.
They're earning about 10 yards per carry rushing the ball today. Panuska and Howard now in the backfield behind Robinson. They've got 127 yards on the ground. And Tony Robinson does not like the people he has, does not like the circumstance, and at 3 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the first half, calls a timeout.
Defense completely off balance.
First down at the Tiger 26. Tony Robinson, thinking he might have a free play, gallops into the end zone as there was contact along the line of scrimmage.
Looked like the Auburn nose guard charged across.
It's against the Tigers. Tracy Rocker, I believe it was, that committed himself and couldn't get back, and the whistles will nullify the run by Robinson. The minute contact was made, though, Robinson, Tony, quick-witted, thinking maybe I got a free one, and took off.
Well, Keith, that's smart on the quarterback because sometimes he can get away with that. The play isn't necessarily over when the defense charges all sides. Is offensively, yes, the play is over any movement before he even gets started.
But they're looking at 1st and 5 now at the Auburn 21. Tennessee leading 21-0. They got him this time. Number 93. Came blowing in there, and Audrey Bruce, defensive end, a sophomore, brought him down.
At the bottom of your screen, Bruce, number 93, is coming from the outside untouched. The offensive guard was supposed to pull out and block him, but he didn't do it. And Bruce comes right through and grabs the jersey and pulls Robinson to the ground, and that was a big, big sack for Auburn. That helps him.
Well, it lost 7 yards. So it's 2nd down and 12. There's that draw. Carrying the ball is Panuska. And he's going to have a first down for Tennessee down close to the Auburn 10-yard line.
When you've got a passer like Robinson, the best play you can have is the fake pass and run. Here's a perfect example of the back, number 35, Howard making the block. Howard made the block, and Panuska breaking into the secondary for the first down. Fake pass and run. Auburn so busy thinking about Robinson, they got caught sleeping.
Pete doesn't have the quickness of Davis. Davis on that play, Frank, might have scored.
Yeah, he has a lot more quick ability than Panuska does.
He's in there right now on first down from the 11.
Here's the blitz.
Robinson rolls it out, dumps it off, and nothing doing as the hit was laid on Howard by Tom Powell. Powell's already knocked Wilson out of the game for Tennessee, and he put some leather, or I guess it's plastic these days, isn't it, on the receiver. There's your crowd, 94,358. That's the this being the 2nd largest on-campus stadium in the country. That's just a few more than we had for the UCLA game here 2 weeks ago.
Tennessee fans are very loyal and supportive of the program. It's the thing to do in Tennessee, to come see the Volunteers play.
2nd down and 10 from the 11.
Here's the blitz again.
Well, they got 9 of them up there. And Tony Robinson just spent his last time out. The Volunteers with no more timeouts remaining. 2:25 to go in the first half. And Tennessee trying to get one more as we take a look at the Auburn campus.
Auburn University, located on the rolling plains of East Alabama, is the state's largest university and one of the nation's premier land-grant institutions.
From his collegiate career will be involved in a live interview with Jim Lampley at halftime. You heard from Jim Walker, if you were with us earlier, the coach at TCU, and his comments on the developments down at TCU. And a lot of folks are thinking that the whole story out of the Southwest may not yet be over. Second down from the 11 of Auburn. Robinson with no more timeouts. The last play looked tentative. Gets his pass away to the corner, and it's out of bounds, incomplete. Pass was caught by Tim McGee about 2 strides out of bounds.
When the defense forced the quarterback to throw the ball as he's retreating, as good as Robinson is, he cannot put enough zip on the ball to get it to McGee before he ran out of bounds.
I'm a little curious as Tim Brandt's down there on the sidelines, and Tim's been watching and watched yesterday with us as Robinson threw, how he feels about how he's throwing the ball.
Well, the ball does not have the zip, Keith.
Doesn't look like it up here.
And that finger controls the ball and also puts the force in the follow-through that he had injured.
He's only hit 4 of his last 10 passes. Third down from the Auburn 11.
Safety blitz.
That's thrown too high and into the crowd, intended for Clink Scales. Once again, Robinson is spread on the landscape as he took the full brunt of the blow from 3 Auburn men.
Once again, a passing team showing the difficulty of trying to put the ball in the end zone. Once you can get a lot of men up on the line of scrimmage and play man for man, because you don't have to worry about depth. The receiver, the defensive backs can get right on top of the receiver and just hug them all the way.
Carlos Rivez, the younger brother of Fuad Rivez, who was so successful here. And Carlos 4 for 4 in field goals against UCLA. Will try one from 27 yards. Crowd says it's good, and so the officials. So Tennessee, at 2:11 to go in the first half, is out now to a 24-0 lead over the team ranked #1 coming into the game. Here's the Volunteer campus. Now, was it 1980? They beat them 42-0.
That was the year before Pat Dye came to Auburn.
Yep. Auburn's run off 3 in a row.
It's been a long time since any team has beaten Tennessee 4 years in a row. Long time.
The kickoff again is a low bouncer, and it's picked off by Lee Mark Sellers, a tight end, well upfield. And Auburn will have the football first down at about the 33. Our baseball presentation tomorrow here on ABC will feature Kansas City and Minnesota. Kansas City, of course, and California locked up in that struggle out in the American League West. And the Minnesota Twins have been causing some grief for a lot of folks of late. Penalty is called against Auburn. And you're going to have your 3rd quarterback coming into the ball game now for the Auburn Tigers as they're accepting a holding call here against them.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the receiving team.
So Pat Washington will now come in and try to get the team moving. Jeff Berger started, couldn't do it. Bobby Walden came in, couldn't do it. And now Pat Washington, a 6'1", 200-pound senior from Mobile, is out there.
Keith, what we've got to point out is 1st and 25, a dead ball foul. You set the stakes and then you penalize them back. So it's 1st and what, the 20-some odd anyway. And Pat Washington was a starter last year, about half the season. He is a junior, has played a lot of football, and I guess Pat Dye feels at this stage he better go with the experienced player rather than the rookies, because the rookies have certainly not done anything, Keith. As we pointed out, if Tennessee's going to win this game, they cannot let Auburn establish a quarterback, and their defense has done it. Their offense has played keep-away football. They had 10 first downs, Keith, in the 2nd quarter alone. Best offense, best defense sometimes is the best offense. As Pat Dye had a fantastic career at Auburn, coming in #1. But right now, he's got his problems, and big problems.
The crowd isn't going to help him either down that end of the field. Bo Jackson out to about the 31-32.
Well, most teams, you would say, let him run the football with less than 2 minutes to play. but I'm not sure I'd make that statement with Bo Jackson in the backfield. He might break loose and go all the way. Tennessee was in a prevent defense last time. Let's see what they are now.
2nd down and 12.
Oh, they're back in their regular defense, Keith.
Got him, too. Number 59, Mark Hovanek, a sophomore from Yorktown, Virginia, made the penetration and brought him down.
Well, Auburn certainly doesn't want to give up the ball again by an intercepted pass, and they're being a little bit conservative, staying on the ground, thinking, well, if Tennessee should intercept it, Keith, they have enough time with Robinson to take it in and score again.
Well, Auburn had just spent its last timeout, so both of them are out of timeouts with 1:23 to go in the first half, and here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, we've been trying to find out if the finger is in fact bothering Tony Robinson. We have talked to a couple people down here close to the organization, and they tell us that he will not admit to any pain. He says his finger is fine. He says he does have the zip that he wants. We mentioned in the pregame, though, that he did not have the spiral on the ball in pregame warmups that he had when we saw him against UCLA. He hurt the finger in practice when he came down hard after releasing a pass and hit one of his teammates' helmets, Robbie Scott. The finger was jammed, it was swollen, it was badly bruised. It has made good progress, but quite honestly, he's not throwing the ball with the zip that we've seen him in the past, but he will not admit to any pain.
I'm going to have to add, Keith, that one of the reasons, he's thrown about a half a dozen passes backing up.
Well, that's right.
Trying to get away from the Auburn rush, and there's no way you can put force on it.
And the Auburn rush consists of big, tall people.
Their front four rushing is probably as effective as any in the conference, but they're not getting to him in time to sack him, just make him hurry.
3rd down and 12 as Washington goes back to throw. Throws the sideline pass about 7 feet over the receiver's head. So the Tigers will have to punt it away.
They stopped the clock, giving Tennessee, they'll have a little over a minute. They won't have any timeouts, will they, Keith? No. But with Robinson, anything can happen. He can make the big play, as we've already seen in this first half. Improvised, unscheduled plays destroy the confidence of the opposing defense. Tennessee just got 10 players.
Yeah, that's all they've got. Now McGee goes back, and Colbert takes a high snap and boots a mile. And it takes the right kind of a bounce for him. They'll be able to kill it deep down inside the 10 at the 7-yard line. Lewis Colbert, who came into this ball game averaging 48.5 yards per punt, he hit the first 3 ordinarily, 41, 32, and 34, but his last 2 have been something, 53 and 63. Their National League scores. One final, Cincinnati. Oh, those Reds hanging on, aren't they? Beat Houston today. The Dodgers and Giants are playing out west, and they're scoreless. The American League, you've got a couple of finals. Minnesota beating Kansas City, and Cleveland beat California again. Both those teams lost last night, so they're going the wrong direction. But they do play next week, 3 games, so they should settle it there.
Keith, Tennessee's in their goal line offense. They want to run out the clock.
And Robinson takes the snap and goes down on a knee around the 10-yard line, and that'll get him inside a minute to play in the first half. Well, what do you think of the first half?
Well, I think that Tennessee has played far above what they could possibly hope to. It's been a near perfect ball game for a couple of interceptions, but their defense is the biggest surprise. Being able to stop the Auburn running attack. The quarterbacks at Auburn have not lived up to any of the expectations that Pat Dye had for them.
Now all Tennessee wants to do is just keep the clock rolling. They got to snap it one more time. And he does, and that'll do it for the first half of play. Both teams will head for the clubhouse, and the Tennessee Volunteers at halftime. And a crowd of more than 94,000 watching at Neyland Stadium lead the Auburn Tigers 24-0. Here's Tim Brandt.
Johnny, it was a well-played first half. We have talked about the obvious with the receivers and Tony Robinson and the defense. You had some breakdowns, the offensive line against UCLA. Is that the biggest improvement today offensively?
Well, our offensive line blocked very well on the pass protection against UCLA. They were tremendous on their stunning, and they were quick. We didn't run the ball very well against them, but our offensive line played well in the first game. I think they're making some progress this week, I hope.
You mentioned to us yesterday that you were hoping that the running game could get going. That was a major factor in this ball game for you, and it has.
Yes, it has. The draw play with Auburn's aggressive rush, the draw plays opened up a few times, and our fullbacks and tailbacks have run very well when they've had a chance.
Two quick, important questions. First, Tony's finger, has it been a problem at all?
Well, if we'd have played last Saturday, he would not have played, and if he'd have played the game on Tuesday, he wouldn't have played. He really got more effective Wednesday and Thursday, and thank goodness at this stage.
The other question, you and I talked about it yesterday. Your last two ball games gave up a lot of points late in the ball game. How do you overcome that? Do you even address that today?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the best I can not to mess up the team and the staff. I'm going to tell them to play just like we were tied and going about their business.
All right, Johnny. Good luck in the second half. All right, so Tennessee, 24-0 over number 1 ranked Auburn here in Knoxville.
What we need to do is be consistent. I mean, we've got to take the football and get one in the end zone to try to get a little momentum and get something that we can hang our hat on. Obviously, we got to throw the football to get back in it.
All right, good luck in the second half, Pat. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I think he said the obvious, Keith. You can't turn the football over and expect to win, especially here in Knoxville with more than 90,000 fans, and as you mentioned, a defense that just keeps swarming.
Well, your halftime stats there would, if you just picked up those as you were idling by someplace and having all the hype going into this ball game, I'm sure you would say, wait a minute, those can't be right. But they are right. And Auburn showing 86 yards on the ground, and it's virtually all been Bo Jackson, whereas Tennessee has shown more balance in their progress up and down the field, and they have been dominant in the first half of play. I don't know. Frank Rawls and I were talking a few minutes ago while we were away, and it just seems to me if Bo doesn't belong to a union and he's got 40 snaps in the second half, I reckon he might have 35.
I think we can expect that. Give the ball to Bo and see what happens. That's their best chance.
Pete Panuska takes the kickoff to open the second half for Tennessee, immediately runs into one of his own people and falls down, and it's way back on around the 15, 16-yard line. Gerald Robinson may not play much. He hurt a leg in the first half. The other big guys up front, Nate Hill and Harold Holman, and Gerald Williams. Gerald at 6'3" and 270. He's a big one. Pat Thomas, outside backer, 5'11", 225. Ben McCurdy weighs in at 225. Ray Corrin comes in at 215. And it'll be probably Brian Smith. We'll check it for you as we go along with the Auburn defensive alignment. Right now, here's Tennessee with the football opening at their own 15-yard line and leading by a score of 24-0 as Tony Robinson rolls out, throws underneath. The pass is thrown to William Howard out of the backfield, and Howard may have a first down. He does, as a matter of fact, as he gets up across the 25. Kevin Porter is in the secondary, a big fellow, 195. Jimmy Corn is the other corner at 175. Your safety people at the strong side, Arthur Johnson, 195, and Tom Powell at 195. There's one senior, a sophomore, and two juniors back there, and they are all hitters. Right now, Tennessee controlling this ball game, and they have a first down at their own 26. Keith Davis to about the 29. The offensive alignment for Tennessee, they lost Hibbett, their center, in the early going, but they've kept all of their wide people healthy, and the offensive front remains pretty much the same, with the exception of Hibbett, where Todd Kirk has replaced him as the center. And they've done a heck of a job today. It's second down and about 7 for the Vols from their 29. There goes Davis. All the way to the Auburn 46.
Tennessee changed the play at the line of scrimmage and decide to go off tackle right at Bruce, number 99. Look at the good blocking, and now the moves of this young freshman right here. Keith Davis, watch him cut right there. Makes a couple people miss him, shows his speed, his running ability, picks up Clint Scales' block, finally is thrown down by Williams.
Remember, Williams at 270, and he got him from the backside. Davis now on 4 carries with 71 yards. And the Volunteers on the Auburn side of the field again.
The blitz is coming.
And Robinson on first down. Getting it from the backside. Clobbered by Gerald Williams. You can only hold him out so long.
The defensive secondary had the receivers covered, and Tennessee has 3 outstanding receivers in the ball game. They are well covered, and Robinson is looking to the wide side of the field, and Williams comes from behind and makes the play. Gerald Williams, number 98.
And that offensive lineman that couldn't hold him out is going to be orphaned by Tony Supper. He got clobbered.
Normally, Robinson would feel that rush, but he didn't that time.
Charles Wilson is back in the game. Judged okay by the doctors at halftime. And Robinson fakes it, sets up a screen at the top of the picture. And Wilson can't get much out of it.
He could have gotten the ball a little bit sooner. He had 2 blockers out in front of him. Might have gone a long, long distance.
Ball is at the 45, where it is 3rd and long now for Tennessee. 3rd down and about 19. Boy, if they were to open this second half with a touchdown. Look out.
Well, they're capable of doing anything with a quarterback. The difference in the ball game, as we've known many, many times, the execution of the quarterback, outstanding by Tennessee, fatal, near fatal by Auburn.
They got 159 yards on the ground and 159 yards in the air. And Robinson on a deep drop on 3rd and long has good protection and goes down the middle with it. And oh, I'm telling you, he was looking at Swanson, I guess it was, over that side, and McGee came curling from the outside and was 10 yards in the clear.
Nobody was covering McGee, as Keith just mentioned. Somehow the safety man saw, anticipated where Robinson was going to throw, and charged forward. Took a chance, and it paid off.
That could have been 6
yeah.
quick.
Oh, absolutely, Keith.
4th down. In the punt. Tennessee, Bob Garman. Trey Gaines is back there waiting for it at his 12 and lets the ball go over his head, trying to fake him, and the ball is down at the 1. So Trey Gaines trying to fake it down there. The ball took a sideways bounce, and Auburn is backed up. There was a flag lost in the melee way back upfield. There was discussion at the goal line as to whether or not the ball had been kicked into the end zone by Tennessee. But it's finally resolved in this way. Tennessee is called for holding. Auburn accepts the penalty, which will force Tennessee to re-kick the ball after that 55-yarder by Garman. So all of that excitement was for naught.
The holding penalty took place before the ball was kicked. Therefore, the penalty is assessed from the previous spot, meaning where the ball was snapped for the punt.
4 officials had to make 3 trips back across the field to explain it to everybody, but it is 4th and 9, and Garman is in to punt again, and Gaines is deep.
And Gaines returned a ball for a touchdown against Tennessee 2 years ago.
That one kicks straight through the end zone, and so Auburn will have the ball 1st down out at the 20. That goes for 44 yards. And there's Smokey, the blue takedown. Robbie Scott, defensive tackle for Tennessee, 275. Richard Brown, the middle guard, 265. Good first half for him. Mark Pavanik, 245. The other tackle. The backers are Tyrone Robinson, 215. Dale Jones, right side outside, 220. Kelly Ziegler, 220. And Darren Miller at 235. Now let's see what Pat Dye's decided to try to do here as he sends Jeff Berger out at quarterback to start the second half. Ball goes to Bo Jackson. And Bo's going to have about 4 yards on the carry from the 20 to the 24. The defensive secondary for the Tennessee Volunteers, a little different look in them today, in that you've got Andre Creamer coming off injury at left corner. The right corner is Terry Brown, 5'11". Tommy Sims, a strong safety, 190, and Charles Davis, a free safety, at 190. 2nd and 6, and Jackson again. Jackson right, Jackson left, got a crowd at the 20.
That's the best pursuit on that particular play that I've seen this year. The counter sweep is usually something that's very vulnerable, and Tennessee played it beautifully.
The offensive alignment for Auburn is same as the one that started the ball game. Of course, they're rotating people in and out, and right now Brent Fullwood has come out to line up a tailback for them. And it's 3rd down and 10. Berger looking to throw the ball. Gets it off. It is caught. Good throw by Berger to Scott Bolton, a sophomore from Theodore, Alabama. And it is good for a 1st down for the Auburn Tigers. And Berger delivers that one under some heat.
Bolton works into the opening area. White, number 7, is the 5th back in the backfield. He drives away from him. Berger leads him away from White for the completion. Now, Berger showed some poise there, Keith. He looked right, receiver covered, came back to Bolton on the left for the 1st down.
Ball at the 34. This is Fullwood. And Brett Fullwood's going to have 5 yards on that carry as he gets it out around the 39.
Knowing Pat Dye, as I do, I would believe he got in the dressing room and said, "Men, we're going to play our ball game. We're going to run the football. We're going to develop. We're going to have spring training, a fall practice right here, and do the things that we got to do to win more games down the way."
Well, when Jackson was jumped over there by 4 people a while ago, he left the game, and Fullwood has stayed in. 2nd down, 5. Up man Agee. Almost. But Dale Jones got a piece of him.
Jones makes
him down.
Keith, that's a sensational play. Jones is lined up way out here over the tackle. He goes inside. He gets blocked in by Wallace on the fullback play up the middle to the opposite side and makes the play.
And it's 3rd and 3. Berger back to throw for Auburn. Swings it out to Agee. Open field tackle. And down he goes at the 35. And Tennessee's swarming defense taking command of this football game.
Keith, you're right. The defense has just been outstanding. A young group of players that are playing much better and more effective than anyone could have anticipated. Just outstanding in stopping this Auburn offense.
4th and 8, and Lewis Colbert is in for his 6th punt of the day. Tim McGee is the deep man for Tennessee. The wind will help Colbert here a little. Beautiful punt. Crowd oohs and ahs over that one, and it's down toward the corner and out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Oh, boy, what a kick. A 63-yard punt out of bounds at the 2.
Hurry at Chevron.
At Neyland Stadium watching as Tennessee leads 24-0 in the 3rd quarter. 1st down for the Volunteers, their own 2. Keith Davis and William Howard, the setbacks, out of the end zone. Let's see now if the Auburn defense can make something happen. Run the fullback from the 2 to the 7. That's a big gain from the 2-yard line when you're trying to set a goal line defense and hold them.
I'm sure that as we look at Pat Dye, 5th season at Auburn, winning percentage 72%. Pat Dye has coached 11 years before this year, all of them in the wishbone. He's gone to the eye as we look at what Tony Robinson has done so far today.
Tony Robinson has been the dominant figure in the ball game, the Tennessee quarterback. 2nd down and a short 5. They take it inside with Howard again, close to the 10. And they've got to go past the 12 to get the 1st down. So they're looking at 3rd down and short now. And Keith Davis, who came on strong when Charles Wilson was shaken up in the 1st half for Tennessee, is the man with the quickness and speed out of the backfield.
What we're seeing is the Tennessee team, primarily a passing team, not known for their running, trying to drive the ball out from their 1-yard line and keep possession.
They had 159 and 159, respectively, in their offense in the 1st half. It's 3rd and 3. They go to Davis. Nothing there. I mean, that was a strong rush. Number 98 and number 94 and and number 41. That's Hallman, Williams, and Thomas, 3 of them. And they stop him cold. And now Tennessee will have to punt. And the wind is not going to help Garman, the Tennessee punter here.
One thing that Auburn, playing the I formation for the first time this year, first time in Pat Dye's career, 12 years. He's changed formations, try to get the ball to Heisman Trophy candidate Bo Jackson.
Out of the end zone, Garman. Low kick. Gaines comes up at the 45, gets a block to the 40 and down at the 38. And so the Auburn defense did its job. And they've given the offense the ball first down near the 38 of Tennessee.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet. See today Chevy, drive today Chevy, live today Chevy. And by Mr. Goodwrench and GM Parts. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one.
Auburn has just fumbled the ball on the first snap, but retains possession right about the line of scrimmage at the 39-yard line. So the Tigers, with a 63-yard punt from Colbert, to put them out on the 2, then a strong defensive stand, giving Auburn its best starting point in the football game, and they fumble the ball on the first snap. It is now 2nd down and 10 1/2.
Auburn's in a running formation, a goal line type attack.
Handed off to the fullback. Bo Jackson is the tailback, but that time they gave it to Tommy Agee. And Agee moves it from about the 39 inside the 35, close to the 34.
Agee should make good yardage. Defense preoccupied with trying to stop Jackson on delayed plays and wide plays. Agee on a quick hitter has had good success all year long.
3rd and 5 for Auburn. Jeff Berger is the quarterback. Jackson. They bend him back at the 30. I don't think the mark is good enough for the first down.
Keith, the headlines is marking it up at nearly to the 31. It's going to be maybe a foot short, if that. They gave him a good mark. Yeah, they did. Well, it's about 2 feet from, well, foot and a half. So it's 4th down. Big play for Auburn. A running football team should make it here.
47-0, the Hawkeyes beating Iowa State in a ball game many of you were watching out in the western and midwestern part of the country. Here it's 24-0 Tennessee. Auburn on 4th down and a yard. And the ball goes to Reggie Ware, and I think as he went over the top, he probably got enough, judging from the mark of the linesman.
Pretty good surge by the offensive line, and Ware, as Keith said, went over the top, and his forward progress is how far the farthest point of the ball advanced before he was pushed back.
Well, it's close enough to measure.
I believe he got it by about 6 inches.
He got to the top of the stack and then was belted by the linebackers inside, but it's that first movement that counts. Got it.
Auburn needed that very desperately. They've got to gain some confidence. Their quarterbacks have made a lot of mistakes in this ball game. For those of you that just joined us, we talked about Auburn being a fine football team, ranked #1, but not having an established quarterback, and it's hurt them today.
Brent Fullwood comes in at tailback, replacing Bo Jackson. Jackson has 87 yards. It goes to Fullwood. Great speed, pops it through there, and gets a first down for the Tigers down near the Tennessee 16. This is what has happened in the ball game in the first quarter. Wilson took it in for Tennessee, 7-0. Then Robinson hooked up with McGee from 37 yards, 14-0. Then Carter with a great catch to make it 21-0, and Rivez a 27-yard field goal, and that's where we are, 24-0. And this is Auburn's deepest penetration and their first real big threat of the ball game. On first down, they go to Fullwood, and he spins it in the middle. And he's down to about the 13-yard line.
Auburn is trying to establish, Keith, what they do best. Run the football, not anything fancy. Just tell the offensive line, get after them, sick them, do the best you can to knock them out of there, and do what we do best, move the football on the ground. They need to establish that confidence. Quit fooling around with fancy plays, options, and so forth.
2nd down and 6. Fullback Agee. Pounds to about the 8-yard line. He's got to go inside the 7 to get the first down.
Keith, the quarterbacks of Auburn have fumbled the ball on 2 option plays, 2 critical situations, giving Tennessee good field position both times. Stopping one drive by Auburn and giving Tennessee field position on the other. Now they're just running good, hard-nosed, tough Auburn-style football.
Ware comes back into the backfield, number 36. Fullwood remains at tailback. Jackson's out of the ball game right now. Go to Fullwood. And they've got him behind the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 4th down.
Fullwood should have never broken outside. That is absolutely what Tennessee wanted. We talked about earlier, stopping the cutback and forcing to go east and west, sideways. Tennessee defense caught him.
Well, Messemer, the inside backer, number 46, forced him out somewhat right into Terry Brown for the tackle. And the ball is on the 9, and it's 4th down, about 2.5 yards, with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. They go back to the tailback, and he dives at the top of the stack, and he's close.
He didn't make it, Keith. Short of it.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but, well, now, Auburn thinks they've got it. Tennessee says they haven't.
And the referee, Jimmy Harper, says they haven't, and Tennessee has stopped them. So the Tennessee Volunteers at 1:49 to go in the 3rd quarter stops Auburn deep and leads 24-zip. Stirred up, 94,358 or some such. And now they'll quiet down some as the home team comes out first down on their own 8-yard line. Davis drops into the tailback position. Robinson gives it to him. And Auburn clobbers him as he comes up to the 9. Tennessee may have enough points, Frank.
They have, if we don't have a quarterback resurgence that makes some big plays throwing the ball.
That's next week. Air Force 3-0 going into this weekend against Notre Dame. A loser today at Purdue, 1-2 on the year.
Well, that Air Force is moving that football, Keith. They're right up in the leading offensive teams in the nation, particularly in running. Close to it.
Out in Colorado Springs at the Academy. Robinson out of the end zone. Throws it away. He was pinned right near the back of the end zone by number 94, Harold Hallman, who chased him all over the landscape, and finally Robinson dumped it.
Number 94, Hallman, is not very big for a nose man, but Pat Dye told me he's got that spirit. He's just an all-out type of football player, and you can see he never gives up. Good blocking by Tennessee, but finally Hallman chases him, stays after him, makes him throw the ball away. Great effort by number 94, the nose guard for Auburn.
It's 3rd down and 8 for Tennessee. They're on 9. See if they elect to throw it again. Nope, on a draw with Davis. He's popped that play a couple of times today, but this time he is down at the 14-yard line, and Garmin will have to come in and punt from deep in his own territory. So once again, the Auburn defense does its job.
Keith, as Auburn begins to get the ball, why do you think that Bo Jackson is not in the ball game?
Well, I don't know. He could either be damaged or somebody might be mad at him. It could be any number of things. Right now, Garmin is standing in his end zone, and Trey Gaines is back up near his own 42. Wind whirls around inside this place. There's not a lot of wind, but there's enough to affect the punting. That's a good one by Garmin. Gaines at the 43 and down at the 45. Tim Hendricks, tight end, hustling downfield. It was a 45-yard punt by Garmin and a 2-yard return by Gaines. So once again, the Tennessee defensive people come out, and Auburn trying to crank it up. They've been trying all afternoon, but so far they have not been able to do it.
Keith Jackson, he came in last series, he came out last series. Pat Dye asked him if he wanted to go back in, and he shook his hand and shook his shoulders. He's not sure, but it is a knee problem. We're trying to find out more.
Right. Thank you, Timmy. There he is, kneeling on the sidelines. I just got to believe a fellow of that quality and character, he'll play hurt all day long, but obviously if he's got a bad knee, then he can't be in there. Here comes Berger. No, it is Walden. Bobby Walden at quarterback, number 15, as Pat Dye continues to alternate his quarterbacks. And Walden this time on the option play goes for a first down at the Tennessee 42.
Walden is 6'3", 190 pounds, played high school football and was injured in his senior year, was redshirted last year. Has most talent probably of any of the Auburn young quarterbacks.
And the third quarter is history, with Tennessee leading 24-0. And we will continue after this message and the word from our local stations, with the team ranked #1 in the nation, trailing 24-0. The Auburn Tigers, first down at the Tennessee 42. Walden starts at quarterback in the final period. Brent Fullwood, the tailback. The option, Fullwood, big block, big hole. Agee gave him a tremendous block on the corner, and he's got a first down inside the 30.
The option play has been the big play for Auburn all of Pat Dye's career. This is where the spin option, the guard pulls, and he just pitches it out, and as Keith has already mentioned, the cornerback White was not up fast enough. They went a nickel defense, and Agee made the block.
And the ball is near the Tennessee 28. And Walden sets and throws, and he drills it, and it's good to number 14, Freddie Wigand. Wigand will have another first down for the Auburn Tigers just inside the Tennessee 15.
Auburn just raises up and throws the ball to a slant. Very difficult throw. The timing has to be perfect. Inside the flanker back in front of the safety.
2 weeks ago, they had UCLA down with a little more than 6 minutes to play, 26-10, and wound up 26-26.
They must be thinking about that, Keith. They've got to. The fans are particularly.
Goes to Fullwood again. And he's got 4 yards to about the 11. In 1971, big fella down here working radio for the Auburn folks, Pat Sullivan, took the Tigers all the way down the field to a 10-9 win.
Jones, number 54, likes to chase. They call him the gung-ho football player, the hit man. You can see why. He goes all the way from the opposite side of the play and makes the tackle. Dale Jones, number 54.
Ball just short of the 11, second down for the Tigers. Walden wants to throw, looks into the end zone, runs away from the pressure, gets to the 5-yard line and close to a first down. I think he does have a first down.
That's good presence of a mind of a youngster who's only attempted 10 passes in the last 10 years. Walden coming off the bench and talking to Pat Dye last night, I kind of got the feeling that he thought Walden, number 15, might be his quarterback. Receivers covered. What do you do with it? You take off. A little quickness right here. So Tennessee let a hole open up between the center and the left guard, and the play first down.
And goal at the Tennessee 5. And it goes to Fullwood. And he stopped at the 2. Tennessee defense has been out there a long time.
Here's Pat Dye, wondering, I'm sure, a little bit in his mind, what can he do to get his team to rally? A touchdown would pep him up considerably and put a little pressure on Tennessee, since they've lost some games in the fourth quarter in the last year or two. With a running team like this, he should just stick it right in the end zone.
Agee, touchdown. And so the Auburn Tigers get on the scoreboard at 12 minutes and 52 seconds to play in the ball game.
I believe Auburn's going to go for 2, feeling like if they could score 3 times and go for 2 each time, they would at least be tied with Tennessee. So they'll probably go for 2, Keith.
Looks like that's what they're going to do. The Auburn place kicker is Chris Johnson.
All right, we got to have these 2 points, right?
Might ultimately come into play in. Auburn man right now is aching on the field. That's big Steve Wallace, the 265-pound senior tackle out of Atlanta.
Agee is going to run right over the left guard. Steve Wilson and Steve Wallace. You can see the surge. The Tennessee defensive men are back in the end zone before any contact was made. They just plowed right in for the touchdown.
That's a big loss there for a running football team if he's not able to come back. It may be a cramp, maybe a slight sprain, but Wallace is a mountain of a man on the left side of the line for the Auburn Tigers.
Keith, he's been a starter for 3 years. He's their bell cow in the offensive line, their leader.
Eric Floyd in to replace him. Floyd recovered a fumble earlier on in the day, and here comes the option with Walden keeping, and he won't get there. Tennessee came out and took away the trailing option man from the quarterback, and Walden had to try and took a lick and failed. 2 to play. Little heat shifts over here to the Tennessee offense now.
2 things, Keith. The Tennessee defense are expecting, at least they're lined up to prevent an onside kick.
They kick it away, and deep people are McGee and Davis. The speedster gets McGee. And downfield coverage is good under the high hanging kick, and McGee is brought down out near the 18-yard line. So Auburn used 2:17 to put the ball in there from 55 yards and get on the board. Now it's the Tennessee offense that needs to sit out there with the football for a while.
The last 2 possessions by Tennessee, they were backed up inside the 15-yard line, and they ran the football and did not make any. Made 1 first down and gave them good field position. They'll open up now, Keith. I don't think they'll go conservative. They'll use their best ace, Robinson, the quarterback, who's just outstanding.
They've only thrown 4 times in the second half.
They'll change that.
That's McGee in motion. Play action. Robinson looking, nobody now, unloads it, and the pass is caught by the tight end, Jeff Smith, up around the 24-yard line. So he was able to avoid the loss and completed the little dump pass. This is what has happened to the top 10 today. Auburn is losing, as you well know now. Oklahoma plays at Minnesota tonight. Iowa winning big. Ohio State won big. Florida State night game. Penn State won by 7. Oklahoma State night game. LSU is idle. Michigan shut out. And Alabama won by 20. And that's a mistake by Tennessee.
Well, that's a mistake that's going to put them right into a passing situation. 2nd down and probably 9 or 8. Unless they decide to run that draw play, Keith, which has been very effective. You've already pointed out the fake pass and run has caught Auburn off balance.
Not a dead ball. False start on the offensive team. Illegal movement.
I wonder if Jimmy Harper, the referee, has ever been ruffled in his life.
He doesn't look like it.
Doesn't sound like it.
They just do a great job. These officials are very dedicated people.
2nd down and 8 from the 19. Number 74 popped across there. Was it 74 or 94? No, it's 74 Rocker.
Yes. Well, they may get their 5 yards back.
That's the 2nd time Tracy's been flagged today for that. Davis comes out now.
Offside on the defense.
Rocker is just a freshman, Keith, number 74. A little bit eager, trying to get the jump on that center and try to put some pressure and beat the count illegally.
2nd down and call it 4 as Robinson drops. Goes deep with it. It's complete to McGee. Out of bounds at the Auburn 21. And a late flag. It's going to go against the Auburn Tigers, I think, because it was contact well beyond the field of play.
The 2 most experienced Auburn defenders, Warren 45 and Powell 9, get completely fooled on the play. Now, 45 Warren is to release him and then drop back, but Powell, in safety, is supposed to come over and cover him, and he's nowhere in the picture until finally right there. I don't understand. That must have been a busted coverage. Now, here, he's out of bounds, and Powell is going to twist him right there, throw him down after the play has really ended. The flag against Auburn. Keith, knowing pass coverage, Warren either had deep coverage or Powell was completely fooled on the play. Jumped in to cover the tight end, I guess. Going down the middle.
Dead ball, personal foul, a late hit out of bounds on the defensive team.
And that will give the Tennessee Volunteers a 1st down, very close to the Auburn 10.
Well, when Robinson decided to open up, Keith, he'd let him have it. Boy, he's something with that football.
McGee has caught 6 today for 163 yards. The backs are Keith Davis and William Howard. Davis is the deep man.
Blitz is on.
Now he's going to check it off.
We got the 5 seconds.
Better hurry. Got it off. Tony Robinson throws to the sidelines, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Troy Hale, the wingback.
I talked to Walt Harris, the offensive coach, and asked him what is he going to do when he gets inside the 10 and Auburn's going to blitz and play man, and he thought he could just outmaneuver him. Most coaches believe, and with a player like Robinson, you can roll out and buy some time and cross the receivers and make something happen.
Yeah, but they had the wrong people in the ball game. Clint Scales and McGee, clearly their best receivers, were both on the sidelines that time.
Well, then those substitutes aren't going to defeat the Auburn backs. Clint Scale and McGee can defeat most any backs, man-for-man coverage.
They're back in the game. And so is Swanson. 2nd down and 10, just outside the 10. Robinson, a little quick pop, lofts it to the corner. Touchdown! Clint Scale.
Sensational, Keith.
Holding Auburn.
Penalized on the kickoff, touchdown.
Keith, I've said all my life, when you play man-to-man, you're going to be at a disadvantage of 1 step virtually every time. And Johnson was only 1 step off of Clint Scale. Number 40 was 1 step from him, but that was the difference because of the perfect strike of Robinson.
Revez for the extra point. Got it. And with 11 minutes and 28 seconds to play, their thinking party in Knoxville, but having been warned 2 weeks ago, they'll wait a few more minutes. Tennessee leading 31-6 kicks off. And Revez this time is told to kick it in the seats, and he does.
Watch the poise of Robinson, the quarterback. He just steps back. It's going to be a quick, and he looks left, and then he arches the ball over the defensive back's head. Just a perfect strike as Clint Scale outruns 40. Now the isolation. Oh, I mean,
name up there. It's not McGee.
That's Clint Scale, number 87. A little bit of shove in there, but the defensive back is beat by 1 step, and that's all it takes if the ball is thrown perfect. Now let's go to the penalty. Well, we'll see the penalty after this play.
Yeah, they were holding Swanson. Trent Fullwood is in there, and tailback, and Bobby Walden at quarterback, and Walden throws to the sidelines too high. The pass intended for Freddie Wagan. Here's the penalty call.
Number 45, Warren. A very experienced back. Swanson, number 27. There's the hand right there. Let's see if we can tell the hole.
Yeah, he got him by the shirt.
Oh, yeah, the right arm. The right arm has got him, and the left arm.
Yeah.
That's flagrant, you might say. Hard to catch the ball in that.
Really,
hard to get open. And the flag
Auburn,
came right there.
Defense starting to lose a little poise. Frustration.
Well, you know, Keith, I think that Robinson's just dynamite. He's sensational in virtually everything that he's doing.
Fullwood, the eye back for Auburn, runs it up the middle. And there's a couple of yards there for him, and that'll do it. In case you're wondering where in the world Bo Jackson is, he, as we're told, has a sore knee. And didn't feel that he was capable of being as efficient as Brent Fullwood.
That's the Tennessee scoring drive. Tennessee opened up. They'd been conservative when they had it deep. This time they went 82 yards and near record time.
It's 3rd down and 7 for Auburn. Walden got all day to throw and finally throws it to the ground. The pass intended for Jeff Parks, the tight end, and here's Tim Brent again.
Keith, we have found out that it is Bo Jackson's left knee. We don't think it is hurt seriously, but they cut all the tape off of him about 5 or 6 minutes ago, even before that last Tennessee touchdown. It is very doubtful he'll be back in the ball game. We told you earlier it was a knee. It is a sore left knee, and he said it was bothering him when he was taking his cuts to the left side. So it is the left knee, as we suspected, but we don't think it is really that serious. They're just being very precautious.
Precautious? 4th down.
Boy, this kid can kick. He can kick that ball. That 48-yard average in the first 2 ball games, no fluke.
I'll tell you, that was a 53-yarder. Here's Jim Lempley.
Keith, here's a fascinating note on the Iowa State game. It was 50-0 late in the 3rd quarter before Chuck Long was removed from the game. 19-32 on the day, 220-some-odd yards, 3 touchdowns. It was 47-0, and they kicked the field goal to make it 50-0. The backup quarterback, Vlasic, came into the game and threw a 35-yard touchdown pass on his first play. My question to Frank Broyles is this. Is there too much pressure on coaches in college football to run up the score? And is Hayden Fry succumbing to it? Frank?
I just don't believe any coach should run up the score in any circumstance.
Tony Robinson goes deep down the middle trying to nail a big one, and it's intercepted by Tom Powell. That's his 3rd of the day, and Powell is still running. And he runs all the way back to the Tennessee 24-yard line. Oh, my goodness, what a run by Powell.
Keep going back to what Jim Lampley said. Anybody that runs up the score, it comes back to haunt you somewhere. I don't think that, and to answer Jim's question, which I didn't do, I don't think the pressure to run up a 50-point lead is there. Winning effectively and convincingly is fine, but not run up the score. I don't believe the pressure's there to do that. I think Hayden just wanted to. Intra-state rivalry, as we see Powell returning the ball. Intra-state rivalry, there may be some hard feelings, but I'd be nice to him.
First down from the 24 for Auburn after that great run by Powell, and Walden back to throw it. Goes deep into the corner, and it is caught out of bounds by Freddie Wagan.
Walden, the rookie quarterback, just a freshman, held the ball a little bit long.
You got a Tennessee man who went all the way into the fence on this play, and he is hurt.
Here's Wagon going. You see how wide open he is. Kramer's nowhere near it, number 1. But the ball just hung just a little bit and was thrown a little bit too late.
Now
ran out of field.
Kramer will go flying into the fence, and he is hurt. He just came off injury, and we've got him off the field of play, so play on the field continues. As Fullwood carries the ball and bounces to the outside, and he's out of bounds inside the 10 at the 7.
That's the Fullwood that Pat Dye has told me is going to be an outstanding runner. He's played behind Bo Jackson for 2 years. Here's Kramer, the young man who was hurt. He's up walking. We're glad that it's not serious. Fullman made a nice run there. Fullwood did.
Kramer went piling into a bunch of camera cases and assorted other things down there, and finally is up and walking around. It's first down Auburn at the 7-yard line. First and goal for the Tigers. They trail 31-6. And here's Walden throwing again for Wagan. Again, it is out of bounds, incomplete. And this time, Freddie almost winds up spiked on the fence.
That was a little bit of a surprise call. I thought that Auburn would just take it on in running that football, which they're beginning to do with some success. Walden went for the score. Couldn't get the ball to him in time. Wagon just ran out of field.
Auburn's passing on the day, 6 out of 17 for a mere 55 yards.
That will come to haunt him, I think, Chief, as the season goes along. If you can't throw it, might as well go back to the wishbone.
Second down, goal, Fullwood. He's got it, touchdown. Brent Fullwood, very, very quick, and big, strong youngster takes it in for the touchdown.
On the quick pitch, good block by Middleton, the tight end. Cleanup block by A.J. and a good block by Parks, the tight end on the end, knocked him out, and Fullwood exploded right through the hole.
War Eagle.
Well, he's an Eagle today. Not much war left. They did take the touchdown in 23 seconds on the clock.
Walden going for two, throws back of the end zone, has a man wide open, Treganis, and threw it too high. And so they've tried for the 2 points successively, and they have failed. It was UCLA that went for successive 2 points and succeeded, that tied Tennessee earlier. 7 seconds. Fullwood now emerging as a principal offensive weapon for the Tigers. Number 82 here, the tight end, is the man that opened the door for the touchdown run.
What's the main asset of a good blocker? Quick feet. Keep a good face, keep your feet working. The defensive man doesn't have a chance, and Fullwood's going to run right in behind 82. Parks is right on number. I think that's Jones, too. Dale Jones.
Onside kick. Tennessee covers it at their 42. Eric Swanson, wide receiver. Tennessee anticipating onside kick, had sent receivers and backs up on the line of scrimmage, and sure enough, there it was. Took a nice gravy bounce for Swanson.
Here's the Auburn scoring drive. 4 plays. Fullwood, all of the yardage from this tailback position, playing in place of the injured Bo Jackson.
Now let's see what Tennessee does here. If they let him hang out again at 9:43 to play. That last touchdown they got was a big one. Tony Robinson, the quarterback, takes his time, gives the ball to Keith Davis, the freshman running back, and Davis is turning for a first down to the Auburn 45.
Oh, that was a great blocking and an outstanding run and cut by Davis. Gave Auburn on the right of your screen. Auburn is in there. They got the linebacker blitz, but a good blocking right there. They opened up a hole, big hole. Davis with his quickness makes, I guess that was Powell, number 9, missed him.
He's good looking back.
Oh, he is a good looking back. I'm sure Johnny Major's pleased about his performance today.
At 87 yards on 8 carries, they give this one off to the big fullback, William Howard. And Howard's got 4 yards as he reaches the 41.
As we look at Johnny Majors, who was a great football player here at Tennessee.
He wanted to grin there, but he didn't dare.
Oh, he's afraid to grin. Grin when it's over, Keith, when you get with your family.
Yeah, that's right.
Get back with your wife, Mary Lynn, a lovely lady, his 2 children. Then you can smile and relax for one day.
He remembers 2 weeks ago. 2nd down and 6. Henderson into the backfield now at fullback. And it goes to the tailback. Davis gets around the corner and knocked out of bounds just inside the 35 for another Tennessee first down. Again, Jim.
All right, Keith, we're going to recap some scores for people who may have joined us late. 6th-ranked Penn State struggled but beat Rutgers 17-10 on a 55-yard fourth-quarter touchdown run by Steve Smith. 9th-ranked Michigan beat a top 20 team for the 3rd straight game. 20-0 win over struggling Maryland, and Michigan's Wolverines, the only major college team not to have allowed a touchdown so far. All yours, Keith.
Boy, they really, that's a tough football team. They were impressive 3 weeks in a row. First down for Tennessee inside the 35. And it goes to the fullback, William Howard. And he's got 5. And Auburn's defense may be getting a little tired, Frank.
Yes, it looks that way, Keith. But the combination of the Tennessee offensive line is really making it successful.
They don't give him 5, they give him 4. That's our presentation of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football coming up next week. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I guess there is no more spirited rivalry than those two, as they really get after each other. 2nd down and 6. Davis. And underneath all the bodies at the line of scrimmage, there is a penalty flag.
Tennessee offensive line.
Well, I guess maybe he did lose a towel instead. It's the same color.
The offensive line of Tennessee are really getting some good practice in the running game, which they need.
Third down and 5. Robinson lofts it for the corner for Swanson. Touchdown! He took it away from Arthur Johnson.
As good as Robinson is, he is the beneficiary of some outstanding receivers, Keith. We have seen Clinkscale, Swanson, and McGee just outmaneuver the Auburn secondary throughout this football game. Another great play by one of their receivers. Tennessee blessed with great receivers and one of the finest quarterbacks we've seen.
Revez for the extra point. And you may have heard a thud. That was the door slamming. It's 38-12 with 7 minutes and 6 seconds to play in the football game. The home team has the lead.
Robinson drops back. It's a quick pass. He looks left. He sees that he's got one-on-one coverage, and he just throws it up in the air, hoping that Swanson can run under it and maybe out-jump the defender. But the pass was perfect. If it had been thrown 2 inches shorter, Johnson 40 would have knocked it down. Here we see the protection and how he just lofted the ball where it will come down at one spot. Yeah, you couldn't throw it any better.
That ball was more to Johnson's hands than it was Swanson.
Well, Swanson has one step right there, the one step. The ball has to be thrown out in front of him, and it wasn't. You're right, Keith. It was underthrown just a little bit. From this angle, we could see that.
Well, Eric said, I want that.
He got it, too.
That's Collins from the 4-yard line, trying to work his way up the sidelines, and he does well to about the 32. So the #1 team, the Auburn Tigers, have come to Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field in Knoxville, Tennessee, before 94,358.
Does Tennessee score in a hurry? Look at there, Keith.
Gotten themselves a whipping.
2:37. I tell you, the Auburn team are going to really have to regroup. They have a tough schedule down the way.
Neither one of them has a gimme.
No, that's right. Southeastern Conference may be the toughest from top to bottom.
That's Fullwood running hard, and again, Brent Fullwood moving for good yardage. Picked up 13 on that one out to the 45. Well, let's see. St. Louis lost the first of 2 today, 2-0, and the Mets lead Pittsburgh 3-1. But that was a cruncher last night for the Mets. American League scores. California and Kansas City both losing. Bobby Walden back to throw. Gets it off to the sideline to the receiver coming back to the ball, Scott Bolton. And he makes the catch short of the first down, a couple of yards or so. You're talking about schedule. Tennessee's next game is Wake Forest here. Then it's Florida, Alabama, Georgia Tech, and Rutgers in that order. With Auburn playing next, Ole Miss, then Florida State and Georgia Tech. Ball is at the Tennessee 48, where it is 2nd down and 3. Walden wigwags and goes out to throw. Directing traffic. Throws the ball too low and bangs it right off the chest. It looks like of Big Fred Bennett. Fred's from Pritchard, Alabama, wearing the orange of Tennessee.
Interesting. Bennett started against UCLA, but didn't play up to the with intensity that his coaches thought. So they worked him on the second team, Keith, and that's always good for a sophomore. Work him on that second team. Don't start it, and when you put him in, he plays like a wild man. A little psycho. You got to be more than a coach. You got to know more than football. That's what happens.
Oh, management. 3rd down and 3. And it is Fullwood spinning open in the middle. And he takes the ball down inside the 40 to the 30.
He could be hurt, Keith. The tackle got him, seemed like, right in the leg. One of those diving tackles.
Jackson out with a sore knee. Fullwood down in pain right now. And Fullwood has had a big ball game.
Fullwood is very good at the stop and go. This time, on the fake pass and run, it's a delay. Tennessee linemen take themselves out of the picture. Watch this. 360-degree pivot right there. Breaks him into the secondary. Now the injury happens right here. The headgear, the shoulder pad, right on his legs.
He has 14 carries for 97 yards, and he's down. Time remaining is 5 minutes and 55 seconds. 38-12, Tennessee.
I'm sure that Pat Dye knows he made the right. Oh, boy. Looks like Fullwood's up. It's going to be all right. That's a break. There's Bo Jackson,
the floating out.
But Pat Dye's decision to go the I formation after coaching the Wishbone for 11 years was really a major decision.
Curtis Stewart in at tailback as Walden puts it in the air, and the pass is caught by the tight end, Jeff Parks. And Parks is down for a first down, and Tennessee playing that prevent defense. They're playing it a little soft.
Little play action pass, moving to the right, throwback. Parks goes into the boundary. I believe this is the best throw of Walden. Had a little stuff on it, hits Parks right in the hands. Number 14 of Tennessee, Brown, comes up and makes the tackle. And you're right, Keith, they're playing very, very loose.
18-yard line, first down. Ball goes to Stewart. Stewart over the left side. Well, he went for 8 yards at least. There's a penalty flag on the play. And Tennessee is calling holding against Auburn. Let's see if the men in the striped shirts agree.
Team is, as we have talked about, they've not established a quarterback.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty on the defense.
Yeah.
Keith, when you and I both know, and we've talked about it from time to time, if you don't have an established quarterback, it's hard to be number one for very long. You won't be there very long.
That's right. So the call goes against Tennessee. When Tennessee players were indicating Auburn was holding, they may well have been. But as we've said before, it's the matter of the caught and the uncaught. And it's first down and goal to go for Auburn at the Tennessee 4. 5.5 minutes to play and 38-12. And Walden rolls out to throw. Got a man wide open for the touchdown, Kyle Collins.
Keith, that was the same pass that UCLA threw against Tennessee for the 2 points. This time the back covered the end. Defensive back covered the end, and the offensive back coming out of the backfield was wide open. And Walden just lays it out. Look how wide open. Obviously, Kyle Collins had gone through the line, gotten free. Somebody, left cornerback, busted the coverage.
Well, this whole business of allowing points late continues to haunt them. Auburn going for 2. Walden options down the line, goes to Stewart. Stewart turns it inside and gets the 2-point conversion. And it is now, with 5:27 to play, still Tennessee's ball game by 18. Points the two teams have in the 4th quarter. It was 24-0 Tennessee after 3. Chris Knapp is out now to tee the ball at the 40, and you certainly can anticipate another onside try. Backs and receivers are up front for Tennessee. They tried the last time, and the Volunteers covered and got a touchdown out of the field position.
When you have a scar like Tennessee has it last 2 weeks ago, they're ready for anything.
And Tennessee's covered this one. The ball didn't travel 10 yards. The Tennessee man Jesse Messimer went straight at it and got it at the Auburn 47. Here's Jim.
Again, recapping scores for those who have joined late. Purdue beat Notre Dame again, 35-17. Third loss to Purdue in Faust's 5-year tenure. Jim Everett, the Purdue quarterback, 27-49, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, one of the better quarterbacks in the entire country. Back to Keith Jackson.
Notre Dame next week will be facing the flex bone. They've got a problem with that, too. Keith Davis is the I-back. William Howard, the fullback for Tennessee. First down, Auburn 47, and Davis almost lost it, but gets outside and picks up a first down.
That's good running, Keith, for a young freshman. Very promising young freshman. 2 tight ends, kind of a running offense. Howard leading the play. Davis goes over 100 yards right now, 102 yards and 11 carries. That's pretty doggone good for a young freshman. Juggling that ball, that would frighten me a little bit.
I said to myself, don't drop it.
Howard, 35, just made the key block.
It is a first down. Henderson comes back into the lineup. Bo Jackson has not been seen much in the second half because of the sore knee. 81 yards for him, 97 yards for Fullwood, the backup. And he's hurt.
And Bo Jackson had 76 yards in the first half, so he's had 5 this half. Still in two tight ends. Keith, running formation.
Yeah, but McGee's down to the bottom of the picture. They stay with the run, give it to Davis, a couple of yards, as he is hit when he receives the ball from Tony Robinson. The dominant figure in the football game, though, was and has been all day long Tony Robinson, number 10.
We've had two outstanding games with Tennessee, particularly their offense, and the defense came in this week, Keith, and played some good football, particularly the first 3 quarters.
We're still going to have to cinch it up in the 4th quarter.
Keith, what are the odds that Keith Davis, a freshman, would outrush Jackson and Fullwood? About 1,000 to 1.
They pop this one up the middle with Howard, the fullback, and he's down inside the 30, so they're looking at 3rd and short. Well, it's been the big play. Tennessee has had 8 plays today of 25 yards or more.
That was the one thing that Pat Dye told me last night. If they could just contain Tennessee from the big play, give them some first downs, but not the big play, they had a chance to win. They didn't do it, and they're losing.
Some surprises today across the country. Jim Lampley will bring you up to date on the college football scoreboard, as well as show you the Chevrolet play of the game. You've got quite a variety of choices, guys, to pick from.
When you do a Tennessee game, you're going to have some with that Robinson at quarterback.
3rd down and 4. They stay with a run. Give it to Davis. And he is belted by Arthur Johnson. I imagine Arthur's a little hot after having that interception taken away from him in the end zone. Well, go for a touchdown.
Well, Auburn's going to expend one of their timeouts.
That'll leave them with 1 remaining in the ball game. 3:37 to play, and Tennessee up 38. Sheet of paper just flew out the window with a gust of wind. They're going to go on 4th down. 4th down and 4 from the Auburn 31. Tennessee not wanting to miss a field goal, not wanting to punt and risk a block or a run back. They're going to go on 4th and 4. Well, that may have been presumptive to say that, because Robinson, looking around, started to check, and then something was wrong, I guess, and Tony called timeout. So, Jim, what do you got?
Well, I've got a human story for you, Keith. You will recall that a week ago, after Columbia lost to Harvard, brand new Columbia coach Jim Garrett ripped his players, calling them, quote, drug-addicted losers, came down particularly hard on punter Pete Murphy, essentially fired Murphy from the team. Then he apologized to Murphy and asked him back, and Murphy said, no, I don't want to kick anymore for you anyway. Murphy in that game had kicked 6 times for a 38.8-yard average. When they lost to Lafayette today, the new punter, John Williamson, was 9 for a 34-yard average. Back to you, Keith.
Now Tennessee has decided to punt. On 4th and 4, Garman just going to knuckle it up in the air. Well, that wasn't a whole lot of knuckling.
When you're on the right hash mark, never try to kick the ball out of bounds on the right side, because you'll slice it 3 out of 4 times and get virtually nothing out of it.
Well, he got 7 yards.
That's virtually nothing.
Air Force trying to stay on their roll against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who are trying to cinch it up and make something of the season. Of course, the world knows it is Jerry Faust's final year in his contract. That will be a prime subject, I imagine, in many quarters across the country this week. First down now for Auburn. All just short of the 23. And Bobby Walden, son of the great punter, puts it in the air and throws it out of bounds, incomplete. The pass was caught by Freddie Wagan, but out of bounds. I want to, now you were a punter at Georgia Tech. And you take another look here at the throw and the catch. While they're looking at that, I want to ask this question. Why in the world don't punters today kick the ball end over end more, straight down the foot?
Well, he should have kicked the ball end over end, Keith, or at least to the left. Never try to kick the ball out of bounds on the right hash mark. It's so easy to slice the ball just as he did then, out of bounds for a short punt. End over end is not bad at that place.
You bet. Walden fires, and this pass is caught by Parks.
Little tip drill there on offense.
Bolton, who caught it?
I think 24.
Bolton caught it.
Yeah, Bolton 24 caught it.
Ball comes out from 34 in time. Clock running 3:14. Auburn with 1 timeout remaining. Tennessee leading 38-20 as Bobby Walden goes back to throw it again and gets trapped, and down he goes. Back around the 26, 27-yard line. Tennessee in control here. Here's Jim.
All right, Keith, the nation's longest winning streak stays intact as down in Division III, Augustana of Illinois beat Wheaton 26-14. They've won 27 games in a row. Coach Bob Reed has been at Augustana for 7 years now. His overall record, 59-8-0. Augustana of Illinois. Keith Jackson.
Kenny Anderson's alma mater, isn't it? Cincinnati Bengal quarterback that you'll see next Monday. The loss is back to about the 27, where it is second down and long. Auburn comes up to the football now at their own 27-yard line. Second down. They've got to go to the 44 to keep the ball. Get the first down. Walden, sideline pattern, thrown. No good. Out of bounds. He was trying to tiptoe, Freddie Waygan was, but could not get a foot down.
Walden, the backup relief quarterback, trying to get Auburn's offense going in the passing game. Ball was thrown a little bit outside. Waygan has to have control of the ball before he steps out of bounds, at least 1 foot. I believe his right foot is on the line before he got control of it.
So it is third down and about 17. This pass is away down the middle and intercepted by Tennessee. Coming up with the ball, Victor Peppers. So little Victor, 5'8", 155-pound sophomore from Albany, New York, comes up with the interception. And that's solace for him because it was Victor who got beat in UCLA's tying touchdown play 2 weeks ago.
Well, the Tennessee defense, Keith, I don't know how we can say too much about Ken Donahue and the job that he's done since he came here from Alabama. Was Bear Bryant's great defensive coach for so many years, came back to his alma mater, Tennessee, and has given them some pride and some enthusiasm and emotion, and the Tennessee defense has really played with emotion.
Darrell Dickey is now in at quarterback. He's the son of the new athletic director here at the University of Tennessee and former coach here. Darrell Dickey in the ball game.
Keith, Darrell Dickey was born in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when Doug was my backfield coach.
Well, judging from the crowd of 94,358, and that's we've seen over 94,000 in 2 out of 3 weeks here.
Ball. Illegal delay on the offensive team.
Looks to me like Doug Dickey is taking over a pretty successful operation, succeeding Bob Woodruff as the athletic director.
Well, Bob Woodruff had built a tremendous athletic program. All sports. They've won the National All Sports Trophy before. They've won the Bernie Moore Southeastern Conference All Sports Trophy many times. Tremendous facilities here. Basketball arena going up to 25,000.
First down and 15. They're going to run the ball until Auburn stops them. And Auburn can't kick to kill the clock anymore because they have no more timeouts remaining. And we've gone inside 2.5 minutes to play.
Of course, I want to wish Bob Woodruff the very best in his retirement, Keith. He was my coach in college, took me into coaching, got me started as a coach at Baylor University. We went together. He the head coach, and I was the backfield coach. A great man for college athletics.
He'll just catch all the trout around here now.
He loves to fish.
It's second down and now about 16. As Dickey hands the ball away to Henderson, and he'll pick up 3 or 4 yards. Today's game, an ABC Sports exclusive, brought to you by Stroh's and Stroh's Light, the circle of sports beer. And by Chevrolet, who invites you to see today's Chevy. Drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. By Mutual of Omaha, people you can count on. And by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. Third down and 12 now for Tennessee. back again. Well short of the first down as Henderson picks up about 3 or 4. And the punting team will now come on for the Volunteers. They will take their sweet time as we come up on a minute. Our spotter, Todd Barry, our stats, as usual, by Dave Burnson.
Keith, I don't believe they're going to punt it. I think they're just going to stay and run the ball and use it, or at least they'll use the 25-second clock here and then send their kicking team in and punt it. Use all the 25 seconds.
Garman has not come on the field. Dickey, number 11, is still out there.
5 seconds. 4. Official will stop the clock and start it on the snap.
So they take the 5-yard penalty for too much time. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Today's game produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, our technical director Jeff Suarez, our associate director Jack Graham, our technical manager Bob Armbruster, our unit manager Jim Feeney, and the assistants to the producer Dave Marr and Emily Deutsch. And now Garman is in the lineup to punt it away. And for Pat Dye and the Auburn Tigers, perhaps a bitter day in some respects, but there's still time. Their record will drop to 2-1, while Tennessee will now be a win, no losses, and a tie.
And Keith, this is the biggest win, as we said earlier, that Tennessee's had in a long time. First time in 26 years that they defeated a #1 ranked team. So congratulations to Johnny Majors. Got a chance to have a great season with Tony Robinson at quarterback.
Of course, you've got to think in terms of beginning to polish somebody behind him too, in case they run into that old injury bugaboo. You never know. Here's the option pitched outside to Stewart. Auburn's got a little trouble now. Bo Jackson, sore knee, and Brent Fullwood took a lick on the upper part of the leg and the thigh area. Both of them laid up on the sidelines now. Tennessee lost their center, Hibbert. We don't know how bad he's hurt. But the way they play the game on this rug these days, with bigger, faster, stronger players, they keep colliding with each other at that speed, and sooner or later something's got to give. And almost every week something does. But there will be tonight in Knoxville a point. Walden running around, gets his pass away, misses his receiver, stopping the clock at 17 seconds to go. And now the crowd is starting to get out of control. They're trying to tear the goalpost down at the south end of the stadium. And people spilling out of the stands. And right now, the officials have stopped the ball game for the moment.
Somebody's going to get hurt, Keith, if they're not careful. That goalpost is heavy. If it falls, somebody's going to get hurt unless they bring it down gradually.
I hate to see this. I remember back in 1968, we had a young woman suffer severe injury in this very kind of a melee where a steel goalpost came crashing down. There was maybe a couple of them. I remember also a game, I think, up at Michigan State, Ohio State-Michigan State game. And there was also one where a young woman was hurt in the Yale Bowl that year. But they've got the goalpost down, and the police now have come out on the field, and they're trying to control the melee. And, of course, it'll get a little rambunctious down there, as they are simply not, the policemen and security people are not going to let the crowd take the goalpost away. They're just not going to do it.
I would expect Pat Dye would walk over and say, let's call the game off right now. 17 seconds to play.
Well, it always winds up in this, when the crowd comes out onto the field and they get involved, they always wind up with this kind of a mess. And there's enthusiasm and fervor is a great thing.
Overdone, it's a bad thing.
Overdone, it's a bad thing. Johnny Majors looked like he was on his way down there and somebody stopped him. Don't go down there and get involved in that, coach. But there's 17 seconds to play in the ball game, and they're going to finish it. And there's the young man who had himself another big game. Tony Robinson, quarterback, University of Tennessee. Write the name down.
That's what Tony did today. The first half with 24 points on the scoreboard. He was truly outstanding.
This is Curtis Stewart for Auburn. And he's run the football down to the 34-yard line, and There's 9 seconds remaining, so Auburn will get one more snap out of it. Security people now lined up to keep the crowd off the field. Once the game is over, they'll let them go. And Alden winds up, throws it in the end zone. The pass is intercepted by Tommy Sims. And the Tennessee Volunteers have defeated the Auburn Tigers 38-20. Stay tuned now for updated highlights and scores of today's action on College Football Scoreboard. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, the only airline to serve all 50 states. This, a presentation of ABC Sports.